There we go. Mic's working. It's not working there for a second. Away we go. Another beautiful day of League of Legends VOD reviews. Find the right games. Nope, not G2 BDS. These are not beautiful games. Well, we'll get through them quickly then.
In this game. Let's see what happens. Azir bound away to kick us off. Fnatic are going to remove the Lilia from our available jungle.
A wonderful day to have eyes. Well, where we're going, we won't need eyes to see.
We've been seeing over the last couple of days, Misfortune, Zeri, both high prio, Ezreal as well. We've seen a lot. Maokai, Sejuani. Yone is the second ban though, taking away Humanoid's pool quite effectively here at Mad Lions Court.
Yeah, the Yone pick was really strong for Humanoid. It was one of the things that he fell back to as his main AD pick in that mid lane. So not fully surprised to see it taken off the board, but still things like the Vi, a lot of the Sejuanis, the Maokai still available. We do know that the junglers do have Morgana prepped into that Vi, so I think that's why we're not seeing Vi kind of rise up in the priority for this round.
Decided. What will the priority be? First pick from Mad Lions Koi. We know that they love their...
Okay, so... Not only is Smolder increasing in priority, they're still on 14-15, but basically because basically in the last series, MDK, right, they were flexing Ezreal, Corki, and Smolder. So you take one of those away immediately, right? And you take away the Morgana, so it forces them. There is no Vi ban, either to take Vi first, or you're going to telegraph you're picking Vi here. Because this is the European meta. And you're going to take probably Braum into MF. Oh, you're not going to take it. You're actually just going to take Corki straight up. So take away the Corki in the first rotation. So Ezreal is up, but if you take Ezreal, like you kind of know it's mid now. MF priority is kind of janky.
Go into that bottom lane, a safe pick that can just scale up against Misfortune. I think you're in a...
So they do take the Ezreal. I guess there's a shot Mirwin could play at top lane or something like that. Probably not. Elyoya on the Maokai. Rel priority through the roof in LEC now, and generally probably should be worldwide.
In that bottom lane, because I think when you look at the champions that are available to put into that bottom side, there's not a huge amount.
Okay, they ban Braum. They can ban Leona as well. Yes, they'll ban Leona.
Is a good pick, but you need something that can...
So they ban the Ziggs because they know they need some sort of AP, but we could just go like, I don't know, Jhin,
kind of lean into that. So maybe they do
Zyra here.
She got with the Rums of Vi.
So oh, interesting. We're taking support Poppy with our Ezreal. That feels pretty weird. Feels like Ezreal Poppy is going to get bullied pretty hard in lane by Jhin. Oh my god, I didn't even realize Rumble just fell through the entire draft. Holy shit.
The Poppy wants to
finally somebody actually picks it in Europe though.
Specifically have cast many of their games where they don't actually have that much engage, and those end up being very drawn out games because
I guess Mirwin just can't play Rumble.
They're effective at playing around the mid game. They're pretty smart around their side lane usage as well. But then when they need
why are we first picking MF?
Their setups aren't always optimal, so you end up in this very awkward back and forth because they don't have a reliable way to start a fight.
Yeah, and that's why I thought they'd go for the Alistar here. It's decent into the rally. You can still have that engage tool available, but this now means that you have to be very careful how you set up for objectives. Try and find ways to utilize this Maokai ultimate very effectively, especially around choke points more in the enemy jungle. So I feel like you need to get ahead and keep that lead now very effectively as MDK, and that's not an easy task against Fnatic.
For the moment, we are preparing to get into game 4. I was trying to go serious with Fnatic.
Now, the players probably aren't feeling the pressure that I'm about to talk to, but a lot of fans are going to be watching this game very closely. This series, I should say, because they are thinking than everyone else. I see them consistently converting those early game leads into dominant performances, and they want to be able to fully support Fnatic as we get closer and closer to the international stage, especially with the final
It's very weird to me to see this. I guess they just want the Poppy so they can get the counter to the rel engage. But I mean, the hard engage is going to be really strong regardless, right? With Vi, Rumble, Jhin. I mean, I'm not sure this Poppy's really going to do much. But it's going to be hard to gank with Vi into the bot lane because you can stop Vi or rel with Poppy W.
I think that's the G2 that they can innovate and that they can invent. And now here we see a more standard composition from them, and we need to see if they
because Jhin should be okay against this Poppy early on.
We're more likely to see on the world stage.
And that's why I was kind of surprised to see them go for a draft like this. I expected something funky coming through from here, and especially if you're expecting the Rumble pick. We kind of talked about it on OR5, but it's just going for the bog standard to see what they can do. But as Betty was alluding to, this is kind of the standard where MDK go for very little engage, and I am worried about this as the game starts to go on. As Super looking to try and trade against Noah, but nothing gonna happen.
Poppy not going to offer a huge amount of threat immediately. Of course, the Halo Blades coming out is something that we've come to know, largely due to Mickey being a big advocate for the champion. But in these early trades, Jhin is someone you have to
praying for a 4-play, including the Fisher King. We will do a Terry Gilliam arc
really
at some point.
Power,
and Richard and I both love Fisher King, so it'll be in there. We talked about doing a Terry Gilliam arc now, but we wanted to do the money shot arc instead. And then for October, we're doing scary movies for Halloween, and then we're doing Sword and Sandals because of Gladiator 2 coming out, and then we're doing Eggers films because of his Nosferatu coming out. So Terry Gilliam will have to wait till next year. But I think Terry Gilliam, if we did it, the 4 movies we selected for Terry Gilliam were Fisher King, Brazil, Imaginary of Dr. Parnassus, and 12 Monkeys. So probably be that.
One of the few champions that can kind of contest and match that push and dueling prowess.
It was interesting to see the way this lane started, though, because traditionally we've seen Rel go for the W start, so you can try and get the shield, look for early trades, but Jonakti opting in towards the Q for the shield break on towards Poppy, so then he can try and go a little bit more aggressive has been pretty cool.
It's also, you really get screwed if you go for the W start, because both the crash down and the mount up are actually dashes. So if Poppy takes Steadfast Presence at level 1, you try and crash down, you just immediately get knocked back and take damage anyway. So I understand going for that Shadowing Strike first. It does make sense for Jhin.
But all 3 of us are big Terry Gilliam fans, so.
Now, in terms of lane priority, you'll notice
we'll get there.
that MBK were able to get... The junglers haven't really looked to leverage that. They've prioritized just getting a full clear. We can now see them securing the Scuttle Crab.
Not too interesting, just Rumble bullying topside right now.
I was about to say that diving
double Cole's bot side. I am having a great day. I hope you're having a great day too, Team Centerlink. I'm eating some Korean Taco Bell that my wife brought back. Where I am in Korea, Mexican food in short supply.
Covering Fresco as he gets this wave pushed out, so definitely MDK coming in with a clear game plan of, hey, we want to try and make sure Razor can't interact in the early stages and just let ourselves scale into a decent position.
It works well. If you can shut down Razor, you can really shut down Fnatic in the early game. So often he is that catalyst for how Fnatic's early game go. Super able to catch this wave anyway, not losing out too much. In fact, it's still even in terms of farm, with both the AD carries going for Cull.
On the road again. Welcome back. Thank you for your subscription. Appreciate you.
Look for potential plays that either side can make. I do think in the early game, MDK are a little limited. I think maybe top lane would be one of their easiest in terms of setup. Bot lane for Fnatic is where I'd be eyeing for a potential dive or play. But against a Poppy, MF, it can be very risky. So I wonder what the game plan is for both junglers. Are they even considering going for these early ganks, or instead is the priority just setting their sights on these early objectives? Dragon, Grubs, these objectives that are now making their way onto the Rift. Is this something that these teams are going to look to try and leverage their pressure to prioritize in the early game? Will it be about trying to...
Pretty boring early game so far.
Making a lot of damage there from Alvaro, and you can try and get in onto the bottom side. They had a good ward on this top side, just in front of the...
We're just handshaking, jungling till farming till 6.
That LEO was going bot, but not willing to follow up.
LEO has seen bot side right before Grub spawn. Fate Talks, welcome back. If it weren't for bangers only, I would never see an LEC game. Ugh, man. I don't even want to watch LEC games.
Level of the next ascendant, calling out the shots and making the plays for both these squads in the early game. Here we see Elio going for this first Drake, and it looks like Razok is going to try and trade it for the Crux.
Remember that they did get a nice trade against Noah, and also both junglers were just pathing in a convenient way for this to be able to work out. It was the Maokai that started on his top side, the Vi starting on the bot side, so as they did another full clear, they're in a good position to set up for these objectives, and it's ultimately just going to be a cross map. And it comes back to what we were talking about earlier. What is the early game?
So not surprising, just because we already had shown Maokai bot side, so we're just going to cross map.
You really need an excuse to try and draw them into you because
LCS or LEC, pick your poison. Well, I pick LCS right now because Team Liquid's actually fun to watch, whereas G2 is not at the moment.
Gives you an opportunity to try and set up for a potential fight, especially if you can try and get push on any of your lanes. Just having that first setup in River is going to be crucial for MDK's success.
Moment, Fnatic, after getting the push in the bot lane, have moved Jun and Noah up towards mid. More for K. Nah, it's true. Been playing too much WoW over the last few days. Okay, my casting brain isn't there. You asked me about preservation evoker, I can tell you everything. And by everything, I mean sometimes I heal people.
Well, that's everything I needed to know.
Exactly.
So it's great.
Con man tactics. Thank you for your subscription. Are you trying to con me?
Approach. I will say, we had.
I do want, man. I do want to do a con man Archon foreplay because I love the Sting, that movie.
Bloodshed, Wrath, Fury, Chaos was higher on the list.
Spanish cursing somewhere.
LCS is not even its own league anymore soon. What will Mark Z be commissioner of then?
You know, these sort of things is what
His very serious job as commissioner. Wow, he's just getting demoted to, what, running one half of the league?
I'm hoping for an intense series. Yesterday
He's the commissioner of the Northern Conference.
And against two of the best teams that Europe has to offer, I'm hoping for a competitive series right now.
Yeah, I can lower the cast volume a little bit. Oh, it's pretty quiet.
Early game objectives, as so far nothing really to write home about. They've been cross-mapping effectively. Both teams have been testing the waters here and there. You can see them eyeing up a potential dive on the bot side of the map. It's going to be risky, given that Jun has just ticked over to level 6. They have good vision control.
Noah has cleanse as well, which makes it a little bit more tricky to lock him up. As they step forward, might look for a Nature's Grasp. There's a Shadowing Strike. Alvaro is going to come in from the side. Make it rain. From Super, we'll get the...
Guys taking the advantage to take a trade on Super there while Alvaro is in the brush. Wow, nothing happening. We've had some boring early games recently.
He dashes away with a Pathmaker. Not falling for the trap of Q3ing Oscar and then pulling him back across the equalizer that we saw happen yesterday. Nature's Grasp comes out, tanked up. Noah has to cleanse away. Jun flashes underneath the tower. Alvaro flash falling.
Suba actually heals up because he has Vamp Scepter. So Suba took some damage, but Noah has to do his cleanse there.
Alvaro flashes forward. Noah away from this as the bullet time
Dies dead.
down onto the face of
Why are we ulting?
Open, but will be able to walk away from this one.
He's clearing wave.
More about clearing the wave than anything here for Noah.
Nicely done by MDK. So I think once they saw Oscar in and ults on top side, they were expecting Resurrect to be up there and look for the dive. So they instead go for their own play in the bottom end and end up catching out Jun. Fnatic just couldn't stay underneath their turret to keep themselves safe.
If we get a replay, I'd like to...
Will be has to cleanse away. Jun flashes underneath. Not falling for the trap of Q3ing Oscar and then pulling him back across the equalizer that we saw happen yesterday.
It's a bit surprising Noah steps out here because he could have just stayed behind. I guess he was afraid of Alvaro flash E-ing him into the wall. Because Jun doesn't get stunned and he flashes under the turret. Pretty awkward, actually. It's hard to live through that, though. Bots on Bo Nix.
More about clearing the wave than anything here.
I mean, it's just preseason games, but
I think once they saw Oscar in and ults on
tentatively excited, I guess.
Expecting Resurrect to be up there and look for the dive. So
Like, I guess my expectations, I mean, I don't think it can possibly be worse than what's happened with the Broncos over the past few years. He looks really poised in the games. It looks like he's smart. I think Sean Payton has a good game plan for him. Do I think he's going to be the best quarterback of all time? Probably not. But if he can be efficient, I think that's what matters. If he can be efficient and the Broncos have a solid run game, then I think like they can be a halfway decent team.
To trade 1-for-1 or even set up Noah to be able to trade a kill back either. So in any case, as you rightly said, MDK do find themselves with a kill. They'll start off the game with...
Like, he at least can do progressions and, like, climb the pocket. I think what's so frustrating is that Russell Wilson didn't have bad stats last year. It was that if you use the eye test, he would just miss completely open reads and then check down or get sacked. And, like, I think the sacks were really what was killer with the Broncos. So, you know, if Bo Nix can just get the ball out, which he seems to be pretty good at doing, you know, Hopefully, it'll be all right.
Dragon spawns in about a minute and a half.
We'll see, though.
Grub spawning in about 30 seconds.
Cautiously
The stuff has come
optimistic.
through from MDK, so they've definitely set their sights on being able to contest these next grubs.
And now we see the balance in this game really falls between Oscar and Super. Oscar's about 1,000 gold ahead on the Rumble in the top lane, as to be expected on Rumble into a tank in the early game. Super has about the same lead in the bot lane for MDK. The question is, can Super survive when we get towards those team fights, with a Vi diving in, with a Rel diving in, with the Equalizer on top of it? It does become trickier. Right now, they've moved Super up to the top side to play around those grubs. They took the first Drake of the game, so might just be an exchange again. Oscar, Equalizer, not up yet, as he's caught underneath the tower. Steadfast presence out by Alvaro, but Oscar survives for the moment. Should be able to clear out the wave. Mirwin, Q3, knocked back.
Okay, we're swapped up here. Still no Bloodthirster on MF, but we're trying to prevent them from taking more grubs, which will be effective, but Fnatic's just going to dive Mirwin on the bot side instead. There's been a lot of cross-mapping this game. Trade for Drake.
Oscar also just got in range there to ult the top wave, so clears that one out as well. So at least for Fnatic, they're kind of helping themselves to everything on the map right now and keeping Noah in a good spot.
The dive was well executed. I will say that we've seen some shaky dives from our teams in the season finals, but that was clean from both MDK earlier and Fnatic again here. They were very respectful of the Cassante. They were patient in waiting for Humanoid to come down. And when all four members were ready,
I was a fan of him at Auburn. I don't watch college football, so I know he wasn't very good at Auburn.
And we're going to get a look back at it now. So great patience from...
But here's the thing. Like, I trust Sean Payton's eye. Remember, Sean Payton wanted to draft Mahomes, but then the Chiefs traded up above the Saints and took Mahomes. So, it's not like Mahomes was the #1 prospect in his class either. Do I think he's going to be as good as Mahomes? Obviously, that's ridiculous to assume that could happen. But I think Sean Payton knows what Sean Payton wants, and he's a very good coach.
Humanoid who's already on his way down.
Yeah, I know it just tries to go for the W, but you already had the unstoppable there, but it doesn't really matter. They just buy time then, wait for Humanoid to come in over the back of us, and then they're able to get that combo there to just keep Mirren in check. Easy setup then. Razork ends up flashing away. I don't know if he was a bit uncertain as to where the Ezreal ult was, because he would have made it out of terror range, but better safe than sorry on something like that.
Yeah, I definitely think Mirwen's last-ditch Q was more effective, and I don't think LDOA was expecting that to hit. So, as you rightly said, just using that flash out of respect. I'll also say, Noah, tagging up those shots, seems like he just wanted to make sure he got the 4th shot off so he could start reloading already. So good awareness from him, knowing that he's going to need those bullets for the second attempt on the dive. As Fnatic have now brought Humanoid down to the bot lane. They've actually kept Noah in mid, knowing that Humanoid can just siege on these towers faster. And as MDK have...
I think the thing about the Broncos, though, is that Vance Joseph in his second year, like, the defense looked better and better, after they let the Dolphins score 70 points on them. But they looked better and better as time went on. So I think, it's a young team. It's whatever. They went 8-9 last year. Wasn't awful. That was with Russell Wilson. They could probably do the same again this year.
Clearly set their sights on the top tower. Maybe Fnatic is looking at a redive.
Let Mirwin walk up. Threaten the dive again.
Razork's tanking the turret, all out comes out. There's the Magnus Storm as well.
They can redive this though.
Continues to rattle on that top lane turret. They should be able to take this first.
He's got to leave because otherwise they're just going to kill the turret. Guess they're afraid of where Maokai could be on the map. It might be coming. Ezreal had also recalled.
Ultimately, they've zoned Mirwin away from the farm as that's what's happening to Oscar on the top side of the map. They will secure the tower just barely ahead of their opposition.
Never in doubt, Betty. I said it was true. It's always going to happen.
You're a wise man.
Thanks.
And
we also have Mirwin in the game.
I missed the second episode of Vampires. Not yet, buddy.
Yeah.
I've got to save that. We've got to savor it.
We're just so far ahead when it comes to witty comments.
How many car puns do you think they can make in 13 episodes?
Game 3 gobs apiece, a Drake apiece, a turret apiece, and a kill apiece. And the gold basically even between these two teams, around 50G, sorry, the difference between the two. And you can see that Oscar winning super divide I talked about before continues to take effect in this game.
It is clean standard league so far, right? Both teams are cross-mapping effectively. They are... I'm not sure if you... I guess you could argue that Mirren did make a mistake in allowing him to get dived, and you could make the same argument that MDK being able to find that dive on a Jun and Noah. Like, sure, if you want to get into the particulars, but then getting dived is what it is. Now MDK, though, have been able to get the 3 grubs from earlier. They also secured the Herald, and now they can use this to put pressure on the mid tower. This should give them a better map state.
I don't know why I'm still streaming League of Legends when I could just stream terrible 90s children's shows.
So nice. This is probably the first major advantage that MDK will have gained over Fnatic just because of how much additional map control this will give them.
Especially the control over that bottom side of the map. It makes it so difficult for Oscar to try and hold on to that mid lane turret, because the whole reason you have MF is she's so good at bullying the enemy AD carry, so she'll be able to get that full push in mid and unlock then Alvaro to start leading bot with Yoya, and Oscar just can't stick around to hold on to that bottom tier 1, so you really do open up the map here for MDK.
The Christmas tree? What's the Christmas tree?
I think doesn't really come online until this 3rd item. Like, because they usually go
wow, this game is so boring, guys. We're just handshaking on farming and cross mapping. Surely we're gonna fight over the first Infernal Drake, right?
Hey, if we show up now, like,
surely it's time.
We win the LEC. G2 are nowhere near the team that they have been in recent months or even in recent years. It feels like we can actually overcome them and supplant them as the champions of the LEC. For Fnatic, it's been all the way since 2018 since they were able to do that. Obviously, Mad Lions Koi have won a little bit more recently than that, but
I mean, just both of these teams have beaten G2 in recent history. Fnatic did it in Summer Split in the upper bracket, and Mad Lions did it just 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, they should have the confidence, and winning this game is only going to give them even more. They've set their sights on Mirwin on the top side of the map. I don't think they can really run the risk of a dive, though. They're just trying to overstack to chip away at this tower.
It's a good trade from Fnatic, though, because essentially MDK went for the play we were talking about, which was
9 Seth, thank you for your Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate you.
Chasing Oscar in and out, so they don't actually invest members onto that tower. So
all right.
You get the top tower, you get that pressure onto the top tier 2. They do give the dragon to MDK, but
all right, we're just trading it. We're just trading top tier 2 pressure and killing Mirwin again. They're just trying to hold Mirwin down this whole game. They're really just trying to punish him. So they're just trying to get ahead in gold right now. It doesn't really matter. They gave away to.
Alvaro hovering around to try and deny the tower, but it's going to be secure.
Oh, God, boring. Boring.
And you've just hit that 2-item build.
I think
it just dive Mirwin,
working towards those next core
cross map objectives.
Super already securing.
If you keep your eyes on the mini map, you'll notice there's just a little ward right in the middle of that lane, and I have no doubt that Humanoid is eyeing that ward up greedily. The second Mirwin steps up past that, I have a feeling Fnatic are going to start those TP plays and see if they can very quickly pick someone off and just start to elevate their game plan a little bit more. Maybe
face check.
More though here.
First one to be caught out, and he's going to go down immediately. The equalizer not well placed. Sees that the Sid's going in, but the shield is enough.
It's a very good MFL to cover Frescovi here.
There's one for Super. Razzle dashing back in, but he's going to be put in the dirt.
I have a feeling Fnatic are going to start those TP plays and see if they can very quickly pick someone off and just.
I mean, Jun just doesn't have any vision.
And I have no doubt that
let's take a look at where they're actually positioning here. They have no vision over River.
Going to start those TP plays and see if they can very quickly pick someone off and just start to elevate.
Pretty risky just to go in here, especially versus a Poppy.
First one to be caught out, and he's going to
he just sets up for the E. It's a very good ult by MF there. Counteract the Vi engage.
Rotation towards mid, and MDK was able to punish them in that movement. An area of the map that Fnatic didn't have full information of. Top side, and they were making the rotation towards mid, and MDK was able to punish them in that movement. An area of the
good snap decision by Alvaro here. So he uses W to get movement speed because Jin doesn't have any dashes to stop, and then he just procs his buckler on top of him.
Oh, I spoke too soon. They didn't have enough of a mid.
Well, this is not the MDK that I expect to show up. They're taking a very standard build and beating Fnatic at their own game.
Cheating tempo as well here. Elioya took the long way around. Jun thought everyone had gone back to base.
Just giving up free Baron.
Coming in, no vision over the wall. There's one sapling there as Mirwin jumps in.
Alvaro no ult.
Come out, the Nature's Grass to follow up.
Nice turn.
Is sent packing. MDK keep the Baron aggro. The curtain's open and Yoya dashes in with a twisted advance. Hit with one shot, a second hits Mirwin, but Humanoid tries to steal, can't get it. Good.
Fnatic essentially trying to get vision on the top, just got absolutely destroyed as they try to set up their vision.
And this play from Alvaro
Good play.
was crucial to
Alvaro
the
actually just
Baron because
hard
they
winning
knew
this
that no
game,
one would
guys,
stick around to try and
honestly.
catch this wave. The minions were so low, a single Q that bouncing grenades could have been enough to clear it out, and he punishes that.
Do I still keep up with LCK? Yeah, I stream LCK VOD reviews on here all the time.
Advantage. They know they can stop this Baron. If nothing else, they can get another fight from it. And they secure the Baron. Great sequence of events from MDK to capitalize on that punish.
And the great thing is, the sequence doesn't
I do a podcast on LCK called The Monty and Wolf Show. Yes. Also, you can check out my other podcasts, which also cover LCK, Power Spike, and Summoning Insight.
MDK, if they take it, they can utilize the entirety of this Baron to push out all these waves, get as much standing gold off the map as possible, and then still reset and go for that Drake.
And look at the difference between the AD carries. Infinity Edge now finished for Super. Ooh, Alvaro.
Equalizer goes down, Magnus Storm as well to follow up. Okay, maybe they can't use the entirety of the Baron buff to push in after losing Alvaro, but they can still turn their attentions back towards that Drake if they so desire.
MDK just hadn't really set up properly for the push that they were going for. They overextended on the mid.
Face check, splashes away, Bolt Breaker in by Razzle. Currently it's on here.
Really should have drifted from mid to top and forced pressure onto Fnatic, but by trying to go for the mid lane turret, Alvaro gets punished. No, jump by B.
Face check, splashes away, Bolt Breaker in by Razzle. Currently it's on here 4v4, the TP behind, but the bullet time.
Suba's MF ults have been very good.
Razzle sent packing, the rest of Fnatic retreating. Humanoids behind MDK right now, but doesn't really.
You would think it'd be hard to play MF against this composition, but he's timing it well and using it as more of a counter-engage tool.
MDK a bit mixed on what they want to convert. Oscar may have overstepped.
Going in, Pathmaker flashed away from.
Fnatic really did nothing this whole game.
After being happy with that. I mean, look at the value they got out of that Baron. They secured 2 tier 2 towers, and they'll get a dragon in a few extra.
Well, at least they're justifying the MF first pick.
Their compositional weak points, though, really, really well. Yeah. When you look at, hey, we are struggling to engage at long range, they're just playing around Fog of War to find the pick, and then it's when Fnatic overextend on the engage, that's when they turn around and find that good counterpoint.
You could sit there and like both.
But remember, it's a similar problem that's occurring today.
You don't keep up with Twitch anymore? Oh yeah, thank you. No, when you find it, what do you mean? Here, I'll give it. Should just be here on YouTube or on Spotify or wherever you want to watch it. All my podcasts are here. That should work. There you go. Last Free Nation on YouTube.
4 versus 5, so just thought, hey, we can just out-muscle you, and now they're getting muscled on the top side. It's Alvaro gets
Enjoy.
Oh my God. You just don't get a chance to move. No flash, of course. That was burned in the bot lane by Mirwin earlier on. Humanoid trying to push that out, but Mirwin's going to catch him.
I mean, if I could surmise that from one of the great philosophers, I would say I am Groot, you know? Just perfectly summarizes that play.
Great.
Well executed.
Yeah, you and Vin Diesel right up there with Plato.
Another tower going to be secured for Frescowi. MDK leveraging that Maokai ultimate to perfection. Exactly what you want to do with it. It's such a great zoning tool. And Oscar with no flash was very limited on options. Jun, though, again, we've seen this pattern. The Observer's doing a great job of showing what Jun sees, and he's hesitant.
Looks there with him, make it rain for the slow.
Good play around vision in general this game from MDK also. You know, this is actually encouraging from MDK because they're playing a very good standard game as opposed to some of the weird games that they played against G2. That was a pretty nice straight-up win. No shenanigans, standard team composition in this meta.
A great example of the dive idea from Fnatic. Create that space.
Fnatic choke points here.
That Baron area. And has that. Just grass goes out. Razzle has to step forward, has the Bolt Breaker, will dash away. That Lightning Jewel.
Yeah, we're yet to really see a strong.
Their positioning right here when they know Maokai's on the flank, just waiting to kind of ult them is a little bad. Razork definitely caught out there.
Now Elioy has been caught. Mirwin tries to get to the back line. Frescowi's already killed off Razzle down towards the bottom side of the fight. The all-out pulls back.
Nice ult by Mirwin.
To the family, as Vin Diesel would say. They take him out, and Fnatic now only have 3 to try and defend the Baron play from MDK.
I mean, it's an easy Baron and a well-executed fight.
Oh crap!
MDK, the concerns that I had around their engage.
What is oh crap?
Non-factor. They leveraged the Maokai ultimate to split apart Fnatic. They have Mirwin binding these flanks, and they use Alvaro as a flash stun bot. Yep. He's just willing to go in, set up the play for his team, and all they need is a single pick or 2, and now they'll convert it into the Dragon Soul. This team was on the cusp of being eliminated from the summer split. They would not have been able to qualify for the for anything. 'Cause, and
Okay, Infernal Soul. This game was like surprisingly clean. It wasn't exciting, but like good game from Supa in the bot side. It's very, very, very clean for Mad Lions.
Boy, great slow pressure in the early stages.
Does DK have a chance against Genji? Ooh, I think that's gonna be tough, man. Probably not. Probably not. But you have to remember that D+ did almost beat Genji in the regular split. The last meeting that they had, it was because aiming like E'd forward on Ezreal in game 3 that they actually lost. I think they were in a winning position. But I also think Genji's going to take playoffs a lot more seriously. So I think it's going to be rough. Maybe Showmaker could do some weird things for this champion pool, but it's hard to be weird against Chovy and win.
They're going to target humanoids, and I
Secure yourself that strong bot side, but
all right, so I definitely agree with the Smolder ban. It's interesting they switched it up to the MF ban as well. We're first picking Vi here because basically, you know, we dropped out the Morg ban. You know, Fnatic loses, they pick red side again. I think picking red side is very smart against MDK, just because they like to flex things in very weird ways. So I think red is definitely the right choice. But now that the typical counter, I mean, they can still play the Morgana themselves. So the Vi first pick, Vi goes up in priority. We're going to play Morg here. Not going to show it right away. We're taking Corki and Ez, so we're taking away the other two picks that they flexed very heavily in their last series versus G2. They can flex the Zeri, though. Mirwin has played Zeri top. We should assume Frescoe can play it as well. It's probably Frescoe, but
and then Leonis as well, but not very good.
excuse me.
You never can know. Okay, so we take away the Maokai also. They have plenty of engage, pretty standard double AD composition in this meta. AP jungler, engage support, and it's just boring. Kai'Sa, Nautilus bot lane, Zeri mid lane, Nautilus. You know, they've got tons of single target CC, targeted CC. They can access the backline really quickly. So they'll be looking to create picks, most likely. Create picks and then have Kai'Sa ult from a long way away to finish somebody off. They won't win probably a straight up like front to back 5 versus 5. But MDK played well around Vision last game. Oh. Okay, we're taking the Poppy counter pick and top side. This is mostly a European thing. Oscar Renan loves to do this. He's a good Poppy player.
Showcasing that his Poppy against some of the world's best Cassantes could be very effective.
Like a Poppy with wait for Fnatic.
MDK do decide to
A very European draft.
this game. Are you guys? Is anyone at home a Master of the Rift? Do you never miss a game? Santander's here to reward you. Head on over to santandergaming.com to win weekly and monthly rewards like Hextech chests and skins. This week's code is Legend15. That's Legend15, not Legend15, although if you don't put the space in the middle, it will still be correct. It's called a foot, by the way.
I was like, that is just a,
You know what Germans call gloves?
No.
Hand shoes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's a weird name, right?
Not really.
Why not just make another name for them?
Because hand shoes does the job.
I guess so. Thanks, Fetty.
Do you know?
You heard of yes-anding in comedy?
Do you know we use the word right for
Sorry, you
3
thought that was
different
comedy?
things? You don't think the English language is a bit weird? Like right, and right can all be used in different contexts.
What's the third context? Oh, right. But it's a different word. it's just a homophone. They're called homophones, Vedius.
Are you always going to have to get right out of here? As Fnatic are going to go for the invade.
He's going left, actually.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Always get that confused. I have to hold up the hands, you know?
I wonder if we'll see a slow early game again like we did in game 1. Both the teams were very willing to wait for those 1-2 item spikes before we really saw any action. A lot of cross-mapping happening. Razork invading this bottom side does mean we might see a split map between the two teams early on.
Well, and Razork says, no,
Nope.
I'm good. That's going to take the Raptors and leave. Of course, Eldioya doesn't know this. And the bot lane is getting pushed in right now. So I think that Razork basically has to respect the risk of him getting collapsed on by this bot lane of MDK. And as I said, notice that they're already moving into the bot side of the jungle to investigate what exactly Razork is up to.
But you already come out ahead as Razork, because essentially if Vi tries to evade onto your top side, you've already got push from Poppy, who can come in and help out. So rather than ever giving across that risky play, you just take your own top side, deny Vi any sort of option to go in and go for the counter invade. And the only option she really has is to, hey, maybe I can try and play off a bot push, but you don't really have the bot push. So in that regard as well, it comes very...
I know it's been asked, but when is the cooking stream? I don't know.
With little to see for it.
Yeah, because it's a zero-sum game. Taking one camp away is effectively a two-camp lead, right? Because you're getting a camp and the opponent isn't getting it. So for the moment, Razork has that early advantage in the jungle.
Also, there's an opportunity here where you can... Oh, that's not the button I wanted to hit, but you can essentially start to move in back down towards this bottom side of the map and then end up trying to contest Scuttle, which is why when you look at his clear, he's gone Raptors, Krugs, Red, and now can start to drift back down to this bottom side, use the fact Fnatic have pushed the bot lane and try and contest Scuttle as well, so may even be able to force Oyoya off of multiple camps here with the way Razork's played this early game.
One of the benefits of playing Leona support is often the enemy AD carry has to take cleanse because they need that extra degree of safety if you lock them up for such a long time, which means
How much for coaching for solo queue? No.
Early 3v3s, you basically have
I don't want to be a
a
coaching.
bit of an extra health shield in the barrier for your own AD carrier. Leora might look for a gank here. Razork's already working his way down through the river. He'll be on the Scuttle Crab. When he realized that Elioya is going bot, flash forward from Alvaro.
I appreciate it, but my coaching days are behind me.
Way down through the river.
All right, what are we doing here?
When he realized that Elioya is going bot, flash forward from Alvaro into the hook. No.
So Elioya just goes in immediately because he realizes the Maokai is coming, but Elioya is 1 HP, and so he just dies. Ah, very cool. Oh, it gives double buffs to Noah. Okay. I mean, it is very hard to kill the Leona with Aftershock and W up, right? Very, very hard. And you try and get onto the Ezreal, but the Leona is body blocking and is invulnerable. I mean, really, this is just stupid Leona shit. This is also, it looks like kind of a panic reaction to Maokai coming down. Because I think he sees Maokai cue the scuttle, and then he's like, uh-oh, gotta go now. But he doesn't actually hit Noah because Noah flashes out. Leona is so dumb with Aftershock and W up.
The idea there from MDK was good, but the execution fumbles. They don't quite have the damage because they initially used a lot of tools to lock down Noah. He then flashes away to safety, and then when they turn their attention to Leona, you've got to remember that W makes her like a mini juggernaut.
And I think the fact that Oyoya didn't try and flash over Jun onto Noah was the big difference maker, because Jun did a great job.
That's really hard to do mechanically, I think, because they were so close. I think that'd be really hard to do. Because he E flashes. Like, do I actually think you could... I don't think you can flash. So first off, he's rooted. I don't think you could have flashed because he's rooted during the dash. I don't think you can flash. I don't think you can flash it. And even if you did, I don't think you could actually reliably hit Noah. They're kind of stacked on top of each other. And Noah E flashes here. That's an E to here and then flash this way. I think that'd be really hard to do.
Because they initially used a lot of...
Oyoya didn't try and flash over Jun onto Noah. Meant that, as you say, of Oyoya.
So I think it'd be really hard to execute that. And I don't even know if it would be possible because he was Leona E'd during his dash. So I don't think he can flash even if he's in the middle of his Q animation, if he's E'd.
Wherever he wants to be, or he can just constantly be in that bot lane, pressuring Super out of the lane, pushing him back.
Somewhat unfortunate. Being able to get that push and control, but now he has to concede some of that pressure, knowing that his jungler is on the bot side of the map. I wonder if Fnatic will consider another dive. I say another dive, they didn't dive in the first place. Consider a dive, rather. Given that they do have this stacked wave here, they do have the double buff. But it looks like for the time being, yeah, no. With the recall of Razork, clearly that is not on their agenda.
He's trying to steal away some camps on the top side, making sure that he can at least...
Barrier.
Okay.
Probably a hook into him buffering, you know, Blade of the Ruin King, perhaps, to try and get through those tanks that we're seeing on the side of Fnatic.
And we saw this adaptation yesterday from Han Sam as well. A lot of people, the reason you are going and seeing Static Shiv a lot in this meta is because of how much mid-push influences the rest of the map. And AD carries are a huge proponent of that when it gets to the mid-game, but in a situation where you just need to try and kill tanks, going for Static Shiv only makes that so much more difficult. So going towards the fork, we saw it yesterday in the Ashe as well, does give you a little bit more of that tank shred, which I think is definitely necessary, because we already alluded to Jun, Oscar, and Razork. They're all going to become very difficult to kill as this game goes on.
We'll see a team taking 5, which means you still for the follow-up, and Alvaro doesn't have a flash to get out. The hook tanked by Razork, but with the buy coming... Now at most, we will see a team taking 5, which means you still only get that 1 might spawn. At the moment, Alvaro is trying to play it down towards this bottom side. Razork coming in as well, for Scowie.
They're really just opting into this to protect this pink ward.
TP earlier on, Shield of Daybreak for the Sun, Twisted Advance for the follow-up, and Alvaro doesn't have a flash to get out. The hook tanked.
Oh, yeah, 6.
But with the buy coming in, Alyoya's looking for a bit more damage, has to flash away himself. Frescawi opening up with the lightning crash, still a possibility for him. He continues to put the damage down into Jun's back. And he will force him away.
Great pick from MDK though. The problem for Fnatic was Jun went in.
How was game 1 in your opinion? Pretty clean by MDK, I thought, in a more standard composition.
But because Alyoya had gotten that Raptor cam, he actually got the elevated experience off it. He hits the Fnatic game.
Locked down Noah once Razork ended up falling. That became a difficult one for Fnatic to kind of trade.
You can see MDK have already swapped their bot to top. Mirwin looking for fast presence. Kofos for the knockback. Oscar in. Going to be flashed on. All out. Alvaro coming in. Looking for the auto. He dredge lines the wall, but he can still get the auto down on Oscar.
Oh.
He can't because of that steadfast presence.
Oh, now they're overextended.
He's in the midst of 4. Keeper's verdict. Knocks back 2. And Kofos will knock Oscar in and back into Super's clutches. Doesn't have the damage to work his way through the poppy.
Alvaro was trying to predict the flash from Oscar Innen, but Oscar Innen stays cool, calm, and collected. Doesn't end up blowing it. And now is able to get himself back safely to turret. Will be Super picking up a turret play
TB back,
though, which is going to be nice, but still not quite able to get the kill.
Oh, he's not TB back because Noah's there. Walk bot, never mind. Hold TP for a second grub spawn.
And that's kind of been the
TP gonna be up soon for Cassante.
Jun's gameplay, where he are a little bit questionable, so we'll have to wait and see how he starts to pick things up as this goes on, because he's such a crucial proponent of Fnatic here. I
really would be fine watching Poppy forever. I know, man. I think Poppy's great. One of my favorite champions to watch. Super interesting at the pro level. I don't like her in top as much as I like her in jungle, because you don't get the crazy pathing early game. A la Peanut.
Be a battle over the Scuttle Crab, with Mirwin having the push. Hero will open up on it. Razork can look for the steal, but with the Crab walking in the opposite direction, it will be very hard for him to get in there and take away that Scuttle.
Be able to get it as well for Noah, but this should bring them to 4 grubs. It will be even in Dragons. We'll see which one we get. My instinct is it's going to be a Chem Soul. Don't ask me why. It's just what my gut is telling me.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs, Veddy.
What are you saying, Dagda?
Infernal.
Yeah, okay.
Can you mention how much you appreciate your content work on LFN? Ran out of podcasts to listen to, so I decided to listen to it for you. Gauge a heart level of harsh questions, honesty from you and Dora Dom. Oh, thank you.
Hey, you didn't ask me quick enough. That's
All right, are they gonna threaten it?
I think Euphoria has kind of suffered from an identity since Casual left.
TP coming in from Fnatic. Counter TP out by MDK. Super able to supercharge his way out. Solar Flare. And the damage on Alvaro is huge. Ignite ticks on him. Jun takes the kill. Frescawi under the turret now.
But thank you. We tried to entertain.
Twisted Advance, Lightning Crash coming out as well, but with the Zenith Blade follow-up, there's not really much Frescawi could do. Jun will die to Super. A 2-for-1 exchange in the top lane. Oscar has to dash away, still has the flash. The cease and desist will chase him down. Mirwin going in. Steadfast presence gives him a little bit of movement speed and enough to get out of the clutches of Mirwin, but not out of the clutches of Oscar.
Jumping off that, thank you so much for fighting the good fight that people were like that in NYC in 2009. What are you talking about? The 500 Days of Summer? I was there, dude. I was in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg in 2009. I know. I was at those parties.
Has to dash away, still has the flash. Lightning Crash coming out as well, but with the Zenith Blade follow-up, there's not really much Frescawi could do. Jun will die to Super. A 2-for-1 exchange in the top lane. Oscar has to dash away, still has the flash. The cease and desist will chase him down. Mirwin going in. Steadfast presence gives him a little bit of movement speed and enough to get out of the clutches of Mirwin, but not out of the clutches of Elioya, who's knocked up.
Nicely played by Oscar.
And has to flash out of the range of the tower.
Oscar's
Good hold on the ult there.
He just cannot be locked down. He's laughing at him too. He knows he's feeling himself in this game. As Fnatic find a great dive on the top sides.
How do you say you having a giggle mate in Spanish?
What's so funny about those podcasts that Riot makes, like The Dive and Euphoria, is they are so expensive and they have no sponsors on them. It's so crazy. Like The Dive driven by Kia, that's not real. They just folded that into the Kia deal they had on LCS. But it's like they have to have like makeup and camera people and a producer, and like it is crazy how much money those must cost to make. They're just giant money pits. Like I'm actually shocked they haven't been canceled yet. Like that's just one of the, if you're gonna like, tell me what the logic is. Tell me what the logic is. So you are okay with just outsourcing your main broadcast to co-streamers, but you want to do a podcast that you don't monetize well, that has insane overhead in a studio, but you can't just let other people take care of the podcast market for you.
To stop, really, he arrives and he already loses about 30-40% of his HP. Then the redive
I don't understand, man.
And I mean, maybe if he flashed earlier, but it's a tough one. MDK should have prioritized trying to trade.
Like that would, if I needed to cut budget, that shit would be the first thing that I cut, because it probably costs them $10,000 an episode to make that. Not even joking. Not even joking.
And Fnatic now going to open up on this bottom side. Looks like they're going to try and push mid very quickly with no real response from MDK and trying to lean into this bottom side. Could potentially look for a dive on towards Mirim, but having the flash nearly open available and that ult would be a difficult one. I think you just try and fish for more plates onto Humanoid, because we've seen what a fed Corki can do. Having that Maokai there to set them up could work out well.
Ivan Mirwin, it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. He has that all out. Nature's Grasp will come across, but he uses the Pathmaker to block it. Razork tanks a tower shot. He might spawn to help out.
Can I please read this comment? Oh my god.
All I would have preferred to see Fnatic do is just try and...
Honestly, so Cajol breaks down what makes Genji good. Honestly, Cajol should just take the hit and create this content for posterity as a passion project. His yearly income is very easily in the top 1%. Oh, keep going, dude. He makes millions of dollars a year. Who cares if these videos don't make insane cash as long as he enjoys doing them? I mean, if he likes doing them, then more power to him. But, you know, those breakdown videos, I think, are really good content. But the fact is that most people don't want that content.
Off the tower, not invest the ultimate, because
but he probably cares. He's very passionate. So, probably continue. I think they're great content.
With that Rift Herald being able to...
But as far as effort goes and cost to produce them versus actual viewership, yeah, it's bad.
You don't have that ultimate available. We can definitely fight you with this objective, especially with Frescowi now having push on top side.
I will say, though, that MDK's comp in general is relatively short range. I guess with the only exception being Frescowi. So maybe Fnatic...
But people don't actually want in-depth analytic content. They don't actually want that.
Look, it's full HP.
I mean, you guys do, because you're on my stream doing VOD reviews, but most people don't.
Oh, they will. Oh, Jung goes in with the Zen Blade. Alvaro with a good hook to block the engage with a solar flare and a true shot barrage through the heart. Go on, minions, tick it. Oh, they will.
Right at this point in the game, mostly just the plate diff.
It's not taking a tick of damage.
8 plates to 2 plates. Yeah, it's mostly just a plate diff and a kill. A few more assists that's making the difference in terms of gold.
Alvaro's just
It's not going to be as tanky. Nice E. Okay, you can queue over the wall because W's down, but MDK follows. Good job of getting rid of the Kaisa, though. So, Twisted Advance already in process when he presses flash. Mirwin, oh boy, you do not want to be there. Nice flash by Human.
Not that much longer. He manages to flash the wall and escape for the moment. The Valkyrie to follow up. The missiles missing, but Humanoid's autos.
Oof. Really dominant by Fnatic. Again, they're using everything they have onto Jun. They can't stop themselves, man. They just can't stop themselves from dumping all cooldowns into Leona.
Done enough damage to Fnatic to continue this battle. Keeper's verdict knocks back one. Season assist will dodge it from Elioya. Steadfast presence into the knock into the wall. And Elioya realizes maybe it would have been better to be found guilty by the hammer. Pathmaker in by Mirwin, the all-out to follow up. Oscar still surviving and Mirwin having to flash away. Humanoid on the chase, flashes in, and Super, not that much longer. He manages to flash the wall and escape for the moment. The Valkyrie to follow up. The missiles missing, but Humanoid's autos do not. Fnatic are going to wipe away MDK, only Mirwin left standing.
MDK hadn't got into position yet. Fresco was still pushing out top, so Fnatic, they tear
A little bit away. MDK doesn't have the ultimate.
That should be the game at this point in time.
Burst from this Corki Leona is crazy. They start the fight 5v4. Noah arrives. Oscar on the flank.
I mean, the Corki and the Ezreal are so fed. And MDK is not playing like a pick composition. They're trying to kill Leona every single skirmish.
One by one, MDK fall, and while they try...
he's taking a turret. You can
even Fnatic find another Alvaro learning from Mickey yesterday, it seems.
I don't know what the plan was there.
Save Elioyo, I think, was the plan.
Ah.
Yeah. It worked. He got out.
I mean...
But, yeah.
But, yeah. All right, well, we'll move past that one swiftly.
No one gets left behind.
Super's base will be interrupted. I mean, this game is like the complete opposite of what we saw in game one. What we credited
it's pretty one-sided, but I mean, really just some silly kind of mistakes on all-ins on this fucking Leona. Just have to respect how tanky she is, at least for the first few seconds of a team fight.
Game one, bit slow, bit ropey, and they just ramp up over the course of it, and it looks significantly better now. Mirror onto Humanoid.
Humanoid TP'd in behind Mirwin here, and I don't think Mirwin has a leg.
I don't think Naut is a problem. Like, Nautilus isn't a problem, guys. You know, you are running this pick composition, but you just can't, like, try and pick off the Leona when she has Aftershock and W up, right? I mean, creating picks is what they can do with Nautilus and Vials, and then you ult in on the backside, right?
All out, but the True Shot Barrage comes in.
With Kaisa, but they haven't actually made any of those plays because they dump a bunch of cooldowns into Leona, and then Fnatic just wins the fight afterwards. I don't think it's a draft problem, it's just an execution problem.
I mean, I guess you could argue they get bot side vision control, but the next dragon is 4 minutes away. Yeah, I debate how worthwhile that was. I guess you could say still a kill. In that wave, control the enemy jungle, and then from that, you force MDK to split apart, giving you access to that mid tower.
They also have the Rift Hold.
They can also just do that, yeah. That'll also... I did miss that one.
Right. It's been a while since they picked it up, so sometimes you can just lose track of the fact they have it. Fnatic might look for a tier 2, though, a larger gold investment if they can take that. And with Razork working his way down here, there we go. Rift Hold used for the tier 2 in the top side. Does get you more gold, but with how far they backed off, I'm not sure the Rift Hold even needs to charge in. They will lose a tier 1 on bot side for it, alongside it an objective bounty, but I don't think they mind too much considering they're 7,000 gold ahead.
Usually I'm a little bit hesitant about using Rift Hold for tier 2, but I think when you can use MDK Ultimate to zone across here and just end up in a position that makes it really tough to defend the tier 1, I think you're in a good spot as Fnatic. Because usually I think just getting that tier 1 down with Rift Hold is kind of necessary, because otherwise they can defend it really well and it shortens your access to the rest of the map. But I think in this position, Fnatic should be able to...
Are T-Man and Joe Miller the goats of casting? They were very good play-by-play casters.
Point for Fnatic. The Infernal Soul, so
I think Joe Miller might be one of the most talented, like in terms of raw ability casters I've ever seen.
Infernal, but then it just came up and I was like,
it was also it was the only option left.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Tragic that he's now just a Saudi shill.
As you can see, a slew of wards, control, and 3 normals towards that blue buff of MDK. So if they want to play for that, they can. Double AD carries. Mana Mune is fully stacked up to those Mura Manas. Would go down relatively quickly, I think. Razork has gone that Leandries as well for a bit more magic damage on those objectives.
I'm kind of
Also a sex pest, apparently. Yeah, I mean those accusations, like
top side because he has teleport advantage, and you play for the dragon. You could also just leverage the fact
he didn't actually do anything, to my knowledge, but he did proposition people. Let's put it that way.
Try and play for push on top into mid tower, but with the position on the map right now, I think Fnatic have been a little bit late to try and go.
I spent time with him and I never saw it.
It looks like it will be just a case of, okay, look for the quick resets, try and get back out onto the map, try and establish vision on this bottom side, and then look for a dragon. I think at the moment they're just
yeah, you guys could look it up. It's all out there on the internet.
As they go
Joe Miller, not D-Man. Joe Miller did it.
Just hope that Fnatic don't get him.
Allegedly.
Because we've seen them with leads before, and we've seen them throw them many times. This could be a situation that Dagda was talking about, where they could just throw the Maokai ultimate. They've decided not to do it this time around. I guess their priority is probably the dragon in a minute's time, which is something they're likely saving it for.
As well, Fnatic just haven't pushed their side lanes in, so there's no real need for MDK to ever leave this mid tower. You can see at least now, Fresco's going down, going to clear out that bottom wave, but as for the moment, sure, MDK can just continue to push here, but Fnatic now grouping up again. And with Fresco going to bot side, they will actually just get a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's your other option. You just play the war of attrition and rely on the fact that you have...
Do you think that Freak is in the conversations for one of the best esports casters of all time?
You know,
No.
stepping up to that wave
In all esports?
For Super, and now he's forced to back. Fnatic gain control.
That's a bold call.
Jungle, and now they can use this to push in bot lane and set up for the dragon spawning in 7 seconds. Ultimately,
Thing is, I started casting with Freak in Warcraft 3 like 20 years ago. So I've worked with him for a long time.
Because they've only got 1 tower so far. They didn't pick up a huge amount of plates in the early game, so he hasn't had that passive support income that really bolsters you to that.
I'm not saying he's bad, but like, it's a lot of casters in esports.
Alongside that, Elioya has the Sundered Sky first, so he can't tank.
Is Artosis the GOAT? I mean, I think Tasteless and Artosis is probably the best duo ever.
Too much damage, so you don't really have a front line that can actually stand in front.
Artosis and Tasteless are very good casters, guys. Very good.
While taking those Mystic shots from Noah and the missiles from Humanoid.
valid point.
I make them from time to time.
You do, Medic. Red secured, Dragon secured. Everything going the way of Fnatic right now. When we think about MDK's perspective and how they can turn this game around, it is very much about creating these pockets of vision and looking to try and find a pick. In game one,
Monty and Joe is my favorite duo still. Well, you too can still enjoy us on the Last Free Nation Culture channel. Go subscribe, watch our show Nerd Legion. Thank you. We recorded Nerd Legion this morning, guys. Doa made me rewatch the Warcraft movie. He made me rewatch the Warcraft movie because the new WoW expansion came out. He wanted to do a show on the Warcraft movie. That movie is so bad.
Jhin is going to be much harder to catch. But you can see MDK doing exactly
the movie is so bad, guys.
Elioya's found a nice little flank.
Mewin is in the bottom lane right now. Does have that TP. Elioya will be
Is there still a MeUndies partnership going on with LFN? You better believe it.
spotted on a ward as he comes around. It looks like MDK are going to call
Of course there is.
However,
How many podcasts is bro on? 6.
should be able to
Warcraft movie ain't that bad. Yes, it is.
walk away. I will quickly
False.
say before we move on to the next
False.
point,
The only reason you don't think it's bad is because you know the lore of Warcraft. They literally don't tell you why Medivh opens the portal in the movie. He just randomly turns into a demon for no reason. Because they don't explain the Burning Legion or anything like that. So he just is evil for no reason.
slightly disappointed in Humanoid. He's gone for the Lord Dominic's Regards, which for the same cost.
Also, Garona is terrible.
gives you 10.
Also, guys, they open the movie. The first scene in that movie, well, I guess technically the first scene in that movie is just a random human fighting a random orc, but non sequitur fight scene aside, the first real scene in that movie is just like pregnant orc cuddling. It's fucking horrible. Your audience is like 90% male, and the first scene is a pregnant orc lady cuddling Durotan, and then her going into labor in space between worlds. It's so bad. It's so bad.
10 extra AD over a Mortal Reminder these days, and that's it.
And then
Mortal
Thrall
Reminder
is just
gives you
Moses
Grievous
at the end,
wounds.
I
So
guess.
for the 10 AD, get the Grievous Wounds instead. Even if it's not the most impactful, you still double bladed the Ruin Kings on the enemy team.
What do you have against wholesome family values, Monty? Nothing. I have 2 kids in a family. The problem is no one goes to the Warcraft movie and is like, the first thing I want to see is prego orc cuddles.
Feels like an item from a bygone age right now, the Lord Dominic's regards.
I'm just looking at what MDK are trying to achieve. They will get humanoid here, it looks like.
Killer Instinct in as well with a cease and desist. That's what they're trying to do. However, I don't. The Lord Dominic's regards.
I'm just looking at what MDK are trying to achieve. They will get humanoid here.
I'm gonna show you that scene, guys. It's actually just outrageous. See if I can actually find it. It is so uncomfortable. It's like also Uncanny Valley, because it's just CG pregnant orc cuddling. Well, let me see if I can find it.
Golden is magic.
No, I need to see the scene before this. This is just the... This is them actually opening the dark portal. Oh, I'm trying to find it, guys. It's so cringe. Wait, where is it? It gets cut out of this version. Damn it. I can't find it. What is this? What is this? Oh, I can't find it. Whatever. Movie's trash.
Looks like
Killer Instinct in as well with a cease and desist. That's what they're trying to do. However, I don't think they wanted Alvaro to get the kill.
Well, I would have had more time. If
What do you think about the South Korea's birth rate being so insanely low that if they keep this up or go any lower, they'll make themselves extinct in about 3 generations? They got to do something, man. It's okay. Don't worry, guys. I'm making more South Koreans. Shout out to Monty.
An item from a bygone
Shout out to
age
Monty,
right now,
keeping the Korean bloodline alive
I'm just looking at what MDK are trying
at a sustainable rate.
They will get humanoid here. It looks like.
Killer Instinct in as well with a cease and desist. That's what they're trying to do. However, I don't think they wanted Alvaro to get the
Cue the I'm doing my part. Starship Troopers meme.
I would have had more time if we gave up on Lord Dominic's regard.
Oh God, Susie's here.
It was an important point, Rob. Can't lose to Boris as they continue with the chase. The solar player coming down and out. Yoya almost falls the locket. He does go down in the end, and it's Jun getting the kills, but the support's very hungry for blood. Noah can't quite hit the Mystic Shot. Flashes in. He'll find the final auto. MDK overstep, and Fnatic pounce immediately.
And that's what I wanted to try and get onto, was Mirren was on the wrong side of
The Mystic Shot as they continue with the chase. The solar player coming down and out. Yoya almost
had more
Don't be confused. Susie forsook her Korean citizenship.
feels like an item from a bygone age right now. The Lord
I don't think you're the Korean half of the Korean babies we have. Neither are you.
Dominic's regards.
I'm just looking at what MDK are trying to achieve.
You became American, traitor.
As well with a season assist, that's what they're trying to do. However, I don't think they wanted Alvaro to get the kill.
Well, I would have had more time if he gave up on Lord Dominic's regard points.
It was an important point, Rob. Okay. Can't lose to Boris as they continue.
Besides, we have 2 kids, so we made in total 1 whole Korean person,
Well, I would have had more time
which is still above the 0.7 birth rate.
if he gave up on Lord Dominic's regard points.
It was an important point, Rob. Okay. Can't lose to Boris as they continue with the chase. The solo player coming down and now Yoya almost falls the lock.
He gave up on Lord Dominic's regard points.
It was an important point.
Ooh, another engage onto tanks, guys. Oh, here comes Leona again to just auto win the fight with the insane tankiness. Yep, she goes in, absorbs everything.
Go down in the end, and it's Jun getting the kills.
Well, Elyoya's Vi is leaving a lot to be desired.
Can't quite hit the mystic shot. Flashes in. He'll find the final auto. MDK over Sap, and Fnatic pounce immediately.
And that's what I wanted to try and get onto, was Mirren was on the wrong side of that equation as MDK were going for it. So even if you get the initial pick, Fnatic should be able to try and group up and find you back without Mirren getting in position.
To Barrett and maybe use that as a point of contention, because we start the play with them finding this pick on a human.
Yeah, the thing is though, look at where Mirren is.
That's how this comp is supposed to work, by the way, guys. This is a good pick for this composition. But how are we just getting picked in response? I mean, Razork has ult up. You can't pursue this.
But again, look where Mirren is. He had the TP top, couldn't get into position. This is a 4v4, and then you get the TP coming through from Fnatic, and Fnatic just able to leverage. They're only starting to get into position here, but again, look where Mirren is. He had the TP top, couldn't get into position. This is a 4v4, and then you get the TP coming through from Fnatic, and Fnatic just able to leverage the fact they have their wallets in the 4v4, end up winning.
Rough. No, missed his Q, so he had to flash.
To set up a pick, but because they kind of stumbled and fumbled waiting for Fnatic to show what they were up to, they end up waiting too long and get caught out.
Almost feels like Elioyo thought they had the explosiveness that they had for that first pick for Elioyo as well, for Razork as well. And if they had, it would have been great. You know, if they could have burst Razork down, then it's a much easier Baron secure. But you didn't have the killer instinct. You didn't have the depth charge follow-up from Alvaro, so couldn't do enough to take down Razork and overstep. Nature's Grass coming out. Baron sitting on Fnatic for the next 2 minutes. They'll get a tier 2 from it. A super pushes out that mid lane. Humanoid dashing in. There's Rocket.
Susie, you see they're starting to pay people to get married in Korea now?
To really hurt now. Mirwin's still on that front line, but with a cannon minion and a few casters, Fnatic will be able to open up the base. They dive forward with the Zenith Blade as well. And Mirwin is down. MDK 4 strong. Can they defend? Fnatic might look for more. The base comes out from Super. Keeper's verdict. Who you're looking for, Oscar? It's just the Poppycopter for now as he steps forward with the steadfast presence. Jun going in with the Zenith Blade. Season sits on the backline, but Elioya's all alone in the midst of 5 Fnatic players. And now Fnatic begin to open up on those Nexus towers. Alvaro can't really defend this, but Scary trying to do everything he can, but the hook is met.
It was just too late. I mean, we did see the one good execution, but they overplayed their hand afterwards. Like, you know, if we go back, you know, this is an opportunity here when they get Corky to try and push for objective bounties. Right? Like, maybe you can get back into the game, but you can't keep fighting here. You need to transition into the mid lane. I mean, like, Frescowi just isn't here while this whole fight is going on. He's like autoing the turret. So they get a free 4v4. Like, that is really just bad play by MDK. Like, they continue to play aggressively when they have, you know, they have a bunch of outer turrets up. They have 2 outer turrets up. Objective bounties. You have to play for the gold there.
Trying to set up a pick, but because they kind of stumbled and fumbled waiting for Fnatic to show what they were up to, they end up waiting too long and get.
Want to get divorced and married again for money? I think we would both have to be Koreans. I don't think they're going to pay 2 Americans to get married, Susie.
For Razork as well, and if they had, it would have been great. You know, if they could have burst Razork down, then it's a much easier Baron secure. But you didn't have the killer instinct. You didn't have the depth charge follow-up from Alvaro, so couldn't do
infinite money glitch. Korean infinite money glitch.
Sitting on Fnatic for the next 2 minutes, they'll get a tier 2 from it. A super pushes out that mid lane. Humanoid dashing in. As Rocket's starting to really hurt now. Mirwin's still on that front line, but with a cannon minion and a few casters, Fnatic will be able to open up the base. They dive forward with the Zenith Blade as well. And Mirwin is down. This game
gets caught out and he ends up getting
well,
punished.
both those first 2 games were not very interesting, guys. They also want to have girls start school earlier so they would get married sooner. What the that's a wild plan.
In terms of draft, and even when it comes to draft, it wasn't flawless, but yeah.
All right, now Fnatic, we've actually switched sides, so MDK's picking red side. They know that red's their more powerful side. It's interesting to see that be the contested side in this series. Okay, Corky, we're first picking MF, so we're going to give them Ezreal. Seems weird, but they're not even going to pick Ezreal, so it doesn't matter. They take Ashe, Maokai, and Rel. So we're just junglers and bot lanes right now. So here we go. Hopefully Fnatic actually bans. I guess they don't have to ban Ezreal here. It doesn't actually matter that much. Maybe they ban Zeri. Zeri might be annoying here because Mirwin plays Zeri top also. Well, they are going to ban Ezreal. Intriguing. No, I don't think it's really a flex pick. I think you have to, if you're going to ban Ezreal, you have to ban Zeri. If you're Fnatic.
What else is there that is good blind pick on top? Because you would be really happy with
K'Sante? Yeah, it's K'Sante.
Here. Well,
yeah.
Yeah, but the red carpet is laid out for that top lane matchup and the counter pick.
Something a little bit.
Yep. Totally right. I was born with these powers, guys. Never seen these drafts, but Ezreal Zeri makes sense, as does Rumble K'Sante. Okay, Trace, take the Tristana.
A lot of crazy picks from Merwin. I don't really think it's so good. Opens up Vladimir, opens up Gwen. There's a lot. It is one of the riskiest picks that you can blind pick on top. But
LeBlanc is one of Humanoid's better champions.
Because when I look at Oscar, one of his signature picks and one of his best picks is the Poppy.
Just needed to ask the question for, you know.
For the storyline?
For the people who don't play top like me.
Oh. You know. Learned a lot?
Yeah, so much. Don't blind pick Poppy if you're not Oscar.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
I really like the adaptations we're seeing.
Okay, it's interesting to me because we saw Team Liquid playing Talia as well. It's been kind of like a fringe meta pick. Oh, looks like 0-0 in playoffs. What is the 0-0? It's not. Is it? I guess it's just in season finals.
A lot of champions were so strong into the hard engage coming out of Mad Lions, and whenever they jump at you, you have MF ult, you have all the heals, the shields from Ivern, you have Talia's disengage. It's going to be incredibly hard for MDK to actually play that team comp.
The Gnar, Odo, yay! Your favorite champion ever.
It is good, even top Ashe to follow.
Oh, we're back into the Nidalee top meta versus the Gnar. So here we go. This is the annoyance of red side for MDK. Saw this in the G2 series. It was counterpicked in that series by Aurelia. Didn't end up working.
Major region filter on.
Well, I don't have the capacity to fact check that. So.
Rel has been one of Alvaro's best champions since he started this year. Is very, very strong right now.
Just because this champion kind of gets to do. Noah and Jun will be forced to play defensively. As
also just disgusting.
The thing about Gnar is he's actually very weak if you can gap close in the early game. So the Nidalee pick is probably very good into him, I would think. Because he can't harass you at range, and if you get hit by one spear, that's it. Like that. You get marked, and then what's he fucking doing? What's he doing?
Oscar. Mirwin gets it.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't know apparently. Is Nidalee actually good into Gnar? Look, man. I'm not gonna pretend to be an expert on the Nidalee Gnar matchup because I definitely am not an expert on that. But in theory, it seems like this is a good matchup just because Gnar isn't great into champions that can all in him early. Which means if he ever, I mean, he loses the race to level 2 here.
Is a great lane for gank setups.
And this just allows you to hit spear. There he's hitting spear, creates mark, cougar form, leap, you know, you gap close with the mark. And he just disrespects this entirely. It's a grass proc too.
Oh my goodness.
Best main character in the top lane. Oscar goes
You can't harass people from range. I mean, you can't get hit by spear. I think is probably how it works.
That's not an example of what does the champ even do? I don't know what it like. That was.
He doesn't do anything, buddy. He doesn't do it. Didn't he just kill you?
The champ doesn't do anything. Oh my goodness. Mirwin off to a great start in the top lane. And,
It is fun that Mirwin has these pocket picks, though.
Into the fight, Jun falls first though. Alvaro gets the kill, Super able to walk away. Razok going in, flash forward from Noah. It's going to be disaster for Fnatic. They flashed for the kill, they lose 2 so far. Will it be more? Frescowi's trying to join the battle, so is Humanoid trying to escort the Ivern away, the jump forward. Razok has a bomb on his back and a cat there as well. Will it be more first though? Alvaro
set his sights on the bot lane.
and Earth here as well. Crash down from Alvaro. TP in by Mirwin as they look to turn this play around. Razok's on his way.
It's funny that Mirwin TP's into this.
Alvaro gets the kill. Super able to walk away. Razok going in. Flash forward from Noah. It's
Trish gonna have to push out TP top.
Flash for the kill. They lose 2 so far. Will it be more? Frescowi's trying to join the battle. So is Humanoid trying to escort the Ivern away. The jump forward. Razok has a
Damn, dude,
ball on
Mirwin
his
just
back and a
solo
cat
winning
there
this
as
game.
well. Frescowi gets on the board.
A massive overforce from Fnatic in the bot lane. After realizing
Mirwin going to be down on CS and XP, though. That's the problem with this. And they're actually not TPing top side. So he is going to have to take an L in terms of XP here.
A lot of farm that's being lost on the top side, but the initial play was great.
Yeah, this is great. You get the disengage from Alvaro, Super pops the cleanse to try and get away, and the TP comes through. But to your point, Benny, like, watch where the wave is on the top side. It hasn't been pushed in, so as this entire play is going on, Noah flashes.
It's a good TP by Mirwin.
Mirwin's able to get the kill then. He's only just kind of getting more and more, and even with the chase down, still that wave in top isn't showing.
Julia just can't fight early either.
As well, so I think you've maybe lost 3 CSs Mirwin for this play. Like, you can see it's not a massive difference in the CS numbers on that top end, and he just gets a massive goal lead for himself. Mid lane,
Gets the backup in XP too, crucially. That's what I would be more concerned about at this point with the kills that he has. But he actually is ahead on XP now.
They got heavily punished for it, and yeah, I do think that gap in top, though, given that stacked wave, is a little bigger than
Oscar's loss in top is leaking. His whoopsie in top lane is leaking into other lanes now.
He'll be hit with the root caller. Alvaro should be able to walk away from this. His AD carry's life will go down. Find that repeat gank in the pretty getting sort of push, and if the MF is able to get
I don't really like Ivern though with the Talia MF. It's hard to take advantage of Ivern brushes, I think, in this scenario. Doesn't have the same value as like having double ADCs or like quirky Ezreal or something like that. Poke compositions.
Was about this top lane. How much XP do you lose? What about the farm? Mirwin walks underneath the tower and says, well, I'm going to deny you as much as you denied me. As Fnatic continue to invest their resources towards the bot side of the map. They will spot out Razok on these Krugs, so he's going to look to go back to base. But I think that it's wise for Fnatic to continually attack this bot side. Leona,
I mean, MDK isn't going to win season finals, guys.
Bot lane 2v2 to set up for jungle ganks. When you pair that with the single target,
I think they don't even win in a in the G2 rematch.
Avenue of attack for Fnatic to build another game.
The thing about MDK is that they won the first time because G2 was playing like off meta and they were giving MDK a bunch of flex picks. Like Fnatic's draft, I think, has been much better at counteracting MDK's potential flexibility. I think G2 was just, that was also before Caps was playing a lot more of the standard picks.
You kind of alleviate some of that pressure because the support can no longer roam to try and have any sort of impact in that position.
It looked like G2 was really trying to play against the meta in their series. It was like the next series they played, it was like Hans's, first Zeri game on his way back. It was a lot cleaner.
That MDK can't really stack them up. We'll have to take this and all 3 of the second wave to get those mites spawning.
The only problem that I'm kind of looking at for MDK is just they are, well, they're very, very AD focused. Like, Mirwin is not going an AP build. You're seeing the Locus come through for Elyoya, so you're actually not going to have a huge amount of that AD damage and AP damage, and Oscar in and already with the boots. I think you're going to get a lot of value by going for this tankier route for Oscar in that top lane.
I miss you with Digon and Damas Yamato taking your job. I was on Power Spike last week. I'll be on next week. We're just switching off right now.
Here's how quickly they can actually take Oscar in down in the later portion.
Aaron's looking for the dive here. Nature's Grass coming out. Oscar tries to jump, knocked back. The root caller won't call anyone, but the trigger seed will keep Oscar in and alive. Flash away, Merwin tries to dash back in. Not tanking the tower yet. Frescowi here to join the battle. Daisy chasing Merwin down, and we'll just knock him up as he manages to get in the bush. Bullet time came out, just looking for the engage there. Doesn't have the solar flare yet. Now they're going to go for the re-engage. Flash, shield of Daybreak, and Super. Cleanse flashes away, but not in time to save the day. Noah gets his second.
Quicker cleanse from Noah was immediately.
Now they're going to go for the re-engage. Flash, shield of Daybreak, and Super. Cleanse knock him up as he manages to get.
What is Super Cleanse?
Daisy chasing. Went down, and we'll just knock him up as he
Cleanse right here. He cleansed Q.
manages to get in the bush.
He cleansed Jin's Q.
Engage there. Doesn't have the solar flare yet. Now they're going to go for the re-engage. Flash.
I think Q comes back up, maybe.
Cleanse flashes away, but not in time to save the day. Noah gets his second.
Quicker cleanse from Noah.
The less Monty ACM power spike, the more new partnerships appear at LFN. Yeah, and that makes you happy. Yeah, me too, man. That's what needs to happen, honestly.
Starting to get their own back in this game.
I mean, we're seeing in this series why MF is just so highly prioritized, not just in the LEC but around the world. She's such an effective duelist in the early game. Her ability to follow up on engaged supports is incredibly potent. And Leona just gives you that setup so consistently. It's so difficult for MDK to really leverage the strengths of Ashe in the early game. And this MF is very quickly going to get out of control.
Scowy's going to jump on towards Humanoid. Be knocked away with the seismic shove, knocked towards the tower. In fact, Root Caller follows him, but no one really wants to go any further in that lane. Humanoid about half HP, about a quarter mana. Should still be able to clear out this wave.
He even has Jun there just sitting behind him to make sure he can shove that out and get the reset for himself. Mountain Dragon is still up and available. I'm surprised we haven't seen any sort of attention down towards that bottom side. I expected El Yoya to try and look for that trade, although you saw him kind of look for the contestant, the Void Grubs, but I do think you're in a position, if you're able as MDK, to look for some sort of play around Super in that bottom side. With that ultimate now available and the cleanse down for Noah, they could try and find that answer back against Fnatic, who've slowly been starting to get control of this game.
Just spending some time there with Humanoid to make sure the wave gets shoved up. Humanoid doesn't have the TP up right now, so doesn't want to lose time under his turret, especially with Frescowy being on the Tristana. She takes towers so quickly, or at least plates in the early game. But because of that, MDK know they have the time to take the Drake. As you say, Rob, hadn't been prioritized till this point, but at the 10-minute mark, MDK will take the first dragon of the game.
Bot lane just going to back away. No, there is a potential engage could come through from Ayoya. This is a sizable wave though, so I wasn't sure if Ayoya wanted to stick around. For Scavi also had push in the mid lane, so they maybe could have looked for, again, that play with the Super Ultimate into follow-up from the rest of the team.
The Pepsi logo on the MDK jerseys looks so scuffed.
Keep control over this bottom side.
It looks like they just slapped a giant sticker on their guts. It looks very weird with the rest of the jersey. All right, Fnatic really just playing around the bot side now, just how it should be. The lead that they have there. I mean, Humanoid's dead.
Bit of a misplay there from Humanoid, and Frescowy, knowing the limitations of his champion, is able to find a solo kill with the blade completed. And now a 2-0-0 Tristana. DK are showcasing that they have some threats of their own. Razzle needs to be careful.
Doesn't have Daisy here either. Does have the flash, has the Root Caller as well. He has the flash early, but Frescowy's on the...
Showcasing that they have some
that
threats
flash,
of their
dude,
own.
is... Razork's not having a great series, guys. Like, why are we even flashing? You know he has reset on W.
Well, he has the flash early, but Frescowy's on the chase. With 2 quick kills.
You know he just reset W on you.
He is going absolutely nuts at the moment. Humanoid and Razork are not safe wherever the big MDK mid laner goes.
I mean, Frescowy is working hard for MDK, securing now 3-0-0, half the team's kills, 2 of them with which he's able to get by himself. How are Fnatic going to be able to deal with this? We kind of look at the composition. Fnatic are going to be very reliant on finding some huge fights as we enter the mid game.
Does Fnatic actually win this game? I don't know who wins this game.
MDK are building this very nice split push threat with both Mirwin and Frescowy being able to play through sides. Fnatic won't really have any responses to it. So as long as MDK don't get bored into the MF wombo combo team fight, they have very clear avenues to take control of game 3.
MDK starting the grubs a little bit early. One more for those mites to spawn. Alvaro, good dodge on the seismic shove. Super's on his way across, has that enchanted crystal arrow, and Fnatic respects it back away. grubs left. Fnatic seem more willing just to stop MDK from getting to 4 grubs rather than trying to get those 4 grubs themselves.
Frescowi had a ton of pressure in the mid lane, being able to shove in that wave, so always a bit nervous if there's 3 kill Tristana.
All right, MFBT done though. This is where MF just sits in mid forever, clearing waves without punishment, being able to push up, play aggressively.
Speaking of small wins, MDK will...
The problem with the Nidalee top is like, what do you actually end up doing with Nidalee top, right? He does need to flash it. I actually don't even think he dies there. I actually don't even think he dies here. I guess Humanoid went Ludens this game, so he's not. He actually does have some damage, but I think even if he gets hit by WE there, he doesn't die.
Goes in with the crash down, but I don't really think he's going to get much off Oscarinin, who does still have a flash of his own.
It's being zoned from the tower, though. These objectives are being traded across the map. Naturally, Humanoid's going to be slower at the siege compared to the Tristana, who's just going to melt through this tower. And there's nothing really that Oscar can do about it. Of course, the good news is that Mirwin can't really do anything else on the other side of the map. But because this bot tower is going to fall faster, it means that the resets are going to come sooner, and Frescowi is going to be able to reset back out onto the map ready for the dragon spawning in a minute's time.
Fnatic are trying to send a lot of members down to the spot lane to protect the tower, though, which has kind of opened up a push in mid as well.
Because Nara, even from behind, is just going to have a lot more utility in the mid and late game. Like, if you're going to build Trinity Force Nidalee, you're basically locked into some sort of duelist / split push, you know, relegated to that role.
Means that Fnatic should be in a decent spot here to try and right their waves and then still be in a position to correct that, or sorry, contest that objective on the top side.
So Frescowi should be sitting on a decent amount of gold, just because he's sitting on 1,500 gold right now. He'd love to get a base off, spend that money before the dragon starts, but as you rightly said, I think he's spent a little bit too much time. Fnatic in a better position. Maybe MDK just prioritize the cross map, set their sights on trying to secure this top tower instead. Noah with the push in mid makes it harder for Super to walk up, but Elyoya does of course have his E to be able to face check these brushes.
Fnatic though, Noah very powerful right now, has that Bloodthirster complete, flash, twisted advance, they go into Oscarinin, the bullet time comes across the wall as Super opens up, Noah has to cleanse away from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, now Fnatic though, Noah very
Because Noah actually just starts channeling ult here and then immediately gets hit by Arrow, so doesn't get a lot done. He's trying to counteract the engage on Oscar. Oscar really no rage on the bar, still trying to get up to Mega. Wait, whoa, what happened there?
Twisted advance, they go into Oscarinin, the bullet time comes across the wall as Super opens up, Noah has to cleanse away from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow.
Ooh, though, that was a very questionable TP from Mirwin. They use all of their resources just to kill Gnar, and they end up trading 1-for-1 because the TP is quite poor.
MDK aren't done with the fight yet.
Super was in a great position to stop the ultimate from Noah, but now the follow-up.
Alvaro, Hex flashes forward, pulled back, Dennis played in, tries to land the Shattering Strike, but Alvaro falls first, and it's the top laners, then the support's almost traded, a buster shot, breaks Jun out of certain death, escapes
MDK to break through, meaning that in the trade of support...
Had a really small window there, but you can see Razork and Jun already on their way out. It was a couple of seconds at most that they would have been able to dive onto Humanoid. Now he backs away to the support of his team.
Now looking back at that fight, I will say Noah's ultimate was...
Yeah, Papa Smith, are you boot camping in Korea for Worlds? Like, what's the plan? What's the plan for NA teams? I imagine Team Liquid will, because they are a lot of Koreans on a roster.
So coming back into the fray, he's going to be much stronger than he was. While Noah also picked up a BF for himself, he is where a lot of the gold is sitting on for Fnatic, so it's crucial that his impact is felt.
But Worlds is kind of early this year. It's less than a month away, actually. Teal will go to Rotterdam. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because, what? Yeah, I suppose you still have 2 more weeks of LCS, so that would end, what, the 9th of September? And then World starts on the 25th, guys. Holy shit. There's actually like a 2-week turnaround between... And LCK regionals don't finish until like the 16th. I don't know why Worlds is so early, guys. Why does Worlds start at the end of September? That's wild.
Contest this at the moment. Waiting to see.
No
you can
TP
try
from
and force
Eowyn.
your way in, but yeah, as you say, you've got Oscar in who has teleport advantage here, but Mini Nara is come through.
Yeah, he's half health as well. Just went over to the Mega. It looks like MDK will back away. Fnatic pushed through mid and then got control over the river.
But yeah, you're probably right. That makes sense. The Team Liquid would just go hang out at their European facility. Whereas Worlds this year, Europe. It's in the at play-ins, and Swiss are in the LEC studios, guy. Woo, hype in Berlin. And then it's going to be in Paris for quarters and semis, and then London for finals.
Of the game. Once again, basically on
Medic. What do you mean, Medic? It's easy for you. You don't have to go to a hotel. Just show up at the office as usual. We all know you don't get paid anymore to do Worlds. So it's just another day in the LEC office, ain't it? Your rate's the same. You'll be in the LEC studios and you'll like it.
In this match, Charlie Cristolaro going wide. Elioya can't quite get in range in time.
Still though, the praise for MDK in game one was their patience and waiting for Fnatic to overextend. This time I think it's MDK trying to bite off more than they can chew too quickly in this game. It's kind of come back to bite them a couple of times, especially here. Like, they could have had Mirren already pushed top, rotate Frescowi up, match the TP play against Oscarina if you really wanted to, take a slower position and try and force Noah back underneath this tower, so you can't just easily contest as Fnatic. But they're giving these moments for Fnatic to actually come into a fight, buy space in river, make super disjointed from the rest of the team. And
close so far in this series, but there's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of trading, a little bit more messiness.
This game's much more fun than the first two.
Can be more fun to watch.
It certainly is. Now, neither team has a clear advantage. We've already illustrated that Mirwin and Frescowi are kind of the strong points. There's that Navori Flicker Blade also secured for Frescowi, giving him a huge power spike, both in the side lanes and in the team fights. Noah, though, with the Essence Reaver, will only continue to demonstrate how much power this MF has in the fights. The crucial thing about MF, as we saw in game one though, is her ability to guarantee the mid push. This gives Fnatic easier access into the river, which makes it easier then to set up for these side lanes. You can already see Jun on the bottom side of the map getting some deep vision around that side of the area, while MDK turn their attention to the top, sync Fnatic to split apart.
Oh, Nedge's grass, Oscar in and dashes away. The redemption coming out as well will heal him up, but it's not enough and not quick enough for Oscar to survive. The solar player hits Mirwin though, and he can be tanky, but he's not tanky enough to get out of here. Bullet time rips through the wave, as Fnatic will make a 1-for-1 trade.
And now Fnatic are going to be the ones that threaten the tier 2 and pot, as long as Fnatic continue to
split apart.
Oh, Nedge's grass, Oscar in and dashes away. The redemption coming out as well will heal him up, but it's not enough.
I mean, they're actually creating picks around the dive that's possible with Nidalee here. But man, the Nidalee, like, good in lane, but I just wonder how much of an advantage you actually have to have with it in order to make it worthwhile, because they're actually probably going to lose their tier 2. No, they don't actually lose tier 2 in bot side.
on the map, and I think that's why
They just end up trading 1-for-1. No tier 2s taken. I thought Talio would push that a little harder, but I guess not.
And I feel like the Rift Herald it's the safer play of the two, right? You don't need to dive a tier 2. Fnatic can respond quickly. They have defender's advantage in that position. If you go for the Rift Herald, you're likely going to guarantee that tower in a moment anyway. Fnatic trying to get around here. It's only Daisy, Jun, and Razork, and I don't think they have the damage to really upset Elioya.
And especially when you're trying to play a split push comp like this, I think it's nigh on impossible now for MDK to try and break mid-turret.
Should you just leave Nid in a side lane and play 4-1? I mean, you can dive around the Nidalee too, but I really think, like, if you're going to play the Trinity Force Nidalee like this, you do need to try and split. But split pushing is very difficult to do effectively in League of Legends right now.
At these big objectives and make things very uncomfortable.
Look at bot lane. Mirwin shadowing Frescowi. Something that we've seen before with the idea of split pushing, of just trying to catch your opponent in a 2 versus 1.
Oscar relatively safe though, always has the jump away and the flash on the Nart. And he's got backup. Razork and Jun waiting in the wings to make sure that tiny Yordle isn't going to be sent to, I don't know, the morgue anytime soon.
I do think the double act like solo laner trap isn't quite in position for MDK to work though. The dragon in a minute's time means that now you have to reset to get your lanes pushed out. Fnatic never feel threatened to actually have to push up past river because they control their mid lane turret well enough, and all they have to do is just bounce these waves continuously. So I think for MDK, you have to try and get the side waves pushed in and collapse on mid, and hope that Oyoi again kind of look for this play with the ultimate across this area, and may look for it right now.
Weaver's wall will separate Moment from the tree. Jun going in, knocked back with the Bramble Smash. Daisy joining.
Weird timing on wall, actually. Why are we engaging right now? Why are we, MDK, why are you engaging? What the fuck? Dude. The Leona focusing in these games has been outrageous. I just don't understand why they're actually engaging here. Like, you have 45 seconds until this next Drake. The Weaver's Wall doesn't do anything. Now they actually don't have any Weaver's Wall to get position, like, on Drake. So why are we trying to counter up this gauge? Why are we flash ulting now? Like, they actually have to back off. It's also a super weird engage because you don't even start it with the Maokai ult. If you're gonna do this, like, I guess Alvaro just decided to pull the trigger and flash Magnet Storm. But Oscar's losing on the flank to Frescowi, and they could actually just create pressure at the moment and then focus on this, right? I guess they just thought they could catch MF, but MF has sums, so all inning on her is kind of silly. She has ult up too for the counter. Doesn't have to use flash. Weird play by MDK. I think you just hold the W of getting the Weaver's Wall out and try and play around the Infernal Drake.
The tankiness of this Gnar, having just picked up the Warden's mail, is coming through.
Now you have map priority too, because the Gnar was actually poked out in that engagement as well. He was gonna have to recall. You could have maybe forced this TP after that.
I mean, Noah is the captain of this ship, and MDK are doing their best to usurp that commander, but his crew is keeping him steadfast. He stays strong, he barely moves, the life still coming through from the Bloodthirst, along with the utility of this Ivern. It was just monstrous. So much was thrown at him, but he barely had to do anything. He still had... Ooh, Oscar, the Trinity Force, along with the Warden's Mail, doing him some good there.
The upside, Fnatic, just going to take the Dragon. And again, having that held on that mid lane turret, making it difficult for MDK to really kind of put pressure anywhere. So MDK going to have to try and find some way to get vision on top. But if I'm Fnatic, I just hold on, I just wait. We're pushing in waves, we're perfectly fine. We're finding great opportunities at... hang on.
Oh, it's Zenithblade. Oh.
But you're finding great opportunities to find these fights around Noah's ultimates, and you know that MDK are kind of going for this all committed, all-in engage, and if Noah's not the targeter, he's able to cleanse his way out of it. He just turns around with the bullet time, and you automatically win the fight.
Yeah, it's also how do you get onto Noah through MDK, right? Yeah, it's a Nature's Grasp from the side.
That's why I think the way you have to play it is kind of what we're seeing now, is go for side picks, and they look for Oscar in it.
Oscar with the
Yeah, I think this is a much better... I agree with Dagda. I think this is a much better plan for them. This is what we've got to do. We're MDK. They just haven't been able to consistently pull off picks, and it seems like they're realizing too late a lot of the time what they need to do.
I think originally he was content to not use the flash, but the gold looks very even. MDK do continue to play through these sides. That is how they can really win out on this game. But if they keep trying to force fights, the problem is, do they really have the front to back to be able to win out?
Solarflare gets the slow. Alvaro doesn't have a flash, and it doesn't really have a way out of this one. Zenithblade will follow him and take him out.
Do they really have the... But the question becomes, if MDK do...
We're not transitioning into just taking Baron.
On this game. But if they keep trying to force
Feels like we can bait Baron here, bait Oscar's TP out. Yeah, we're just dicking around in river and enemy jungle. I guess they got tier 2 in bot side, so you get more solo gold onto Nidalee. I mean, Nidalee has a 2,000 gold lead, but what does it do?
That's 2 towns in favor of the example of what we just
punished. The forced Baron, that Fnatic actually spotted Mirman's TP, so they're not going to look for that play.
But now that they see Frescowi on the bot wave, they know Frescowi doesn't have TP right now because they saw him TP up to the top wave. So there is an opportunity to put some pressure down. The problem is someone now has to match Frescowi late game League of...
No gold, and You're slowly gaining more control over the map, especially around this Baron area, whereas Fnatic, with 2 dragons to their name, they'd love to get the 3rd, put themselves on soul point, and they're looking for these fights.
Haven't been able to push that vision line forward because they're. I'm actually going to hold on. Humanoid looking for pink.
Jun should be fine. He's got the Warmogs, and he's got Trigger C behind him, and he's got a Mikhails and a Redemption on Razork. So if Jun dies, MDK have found him very isolated. Right now, he is not that. It's a battle over mid control as Frescowi push the wave in, but Fnatic can't answer it. They only have a couple of wards actually in their inventories right now, so they can't really gain control of the vision on any point of the map.
Look, I mean, the Fnatic are just grouping up around mid. I was going to say Frescowi, I like the fact that he went...
Love the combat gold stats, by the way. Love the combat gold stats.
Because Fnatic are just spending a lot of time here.
Fnatic are just trying to force the 5v5, brute force the way onto this mid tower, knowing they're strong.
Fnatic should be wanting to fight the 5v5 for sure.
And MDK, they're fine to do so.
Jun gets hit with it. The Weaver's Wall goes down as well. It will
nice wall.
Alvaro from the rest of MDK. The Magnet Storm comes in.
Frescowi flank.
All the time in the world, but immediately they dive onto him. The solar flat flashes away from. Noah was knocked in with a buster shot, and Lyoya falls low. Oscarinin on the background trying to do everything he can. Alvaro flashes over the wall again. The trigger seeds from Razork are huge. Humanoid bites a second with the stopwatch. Frescowi though begins to open up.
Frescowi actually having a very good game. Oh my god, did I curse him? Did I go back in time and curse him? No, okay. It's crazy that they all lived through that. But the flank ends up being pretty good because it's again an opportunity for them to cancel Noah's ult or punish his positioning.
The Weaver's Wall goes down as well. It will separate Alvaro from the rest of MDK. The Magnet Storm comes in. Frescowi has all the time in the world, but immediately they dive onto him. The solar flat flashes away from.
The push forward really helps too.
Lyoya falls low. Oscarinin on the background trying to do everything he can. Alvaro flashes over the wall again. The trigger seeds from Razork are huge. Humanoid bites a second with the stopwatch. Frescowi though begins to open.
Frescowi starts getting the resets though.
From the tryst, he finds one. He's looking for 2. Jun stuns him for a second. All of MDK somehow still alive. And Fnatic are sent packing.
Secret agent Frescowi coming in behind.
Good, actually very good flank by Frescowi. You don't think about that much with Tristana, but he did a good job of really controlling Noah, who's the Fed carry on this team.
Knocks him into his Frescowi. Keep your eyes on him. The arrow connects. The engage comes through. Noah trying to stay with his team, but they just don't spot out Frescowi. Then the bullet time comes through. He finds the angle.
Jun tries to actually flash on top of him.
The arrow connects. The engage comes through. Noah trying to stay with his team, but they just don't spot out Frescowi. Then the bullet time comes through. He finds the angle.
But he doesn't chain the CC, so he's able to flash out of Leona ult.
To keep him alive, but it just doesn't happen. But even after he dies, notice that Fnatic is still strong because Humanoid is still alive, the damage is still good, but it's just not as good as what Frescowi can do. He gets CC'd up, he gets the...
Frescowi showing exactly why. An incredible performance. You can see
all the talk.
Alive, trying to stay with his team, but they just don't spot out Frescowi. Then the bullet time comes through, he finds the angle, he knocks him into his team away from... Keep your eyes on him. The arrow connects, the engage comes through. Noah trying
Watching
to stay
Razork,
with his
what
team,
happened to him?
but they just don't spot out Frescowi. Then the bullet time comes through, he finds the angle, he knocks him into his team away from the Ivan. Razork tries his best to keep him alive, but it just good as what Frescowi
carry Betty. This is an AD carry meta, and Frescowi showing exactly why.
Predictions for HLE T1, HLE 3-0 T1.
From Razork there. This was a game they thought they had control of, but MDK are finding.
Hanwha's actually a very good team right now, guys.
To get themselves back into it.
And all the talk in the G2 series was around Mirwin in the top lane. All the talk in those grand finals in Munich. MDK could bring out to win this series. Well,
anyone.
G2 series
Yeah, Humanoid actually successfully pushed this out very far without actually using TP here.
Was around what inventive picks MDK could bring out to win this series. Well, this game at least has been the Frescowi show, the rookie showing that it belongs in those grand finals in Munich. MDK would be 1 game away from claiming that.
We TPing with Talia? 8 point in time. There's no wards really to TP on.
The top lane trying to get a tier 2, but the tier 2
one in blue jungle.
Super can step forward in a second when he sees that Fnatic moved across. The arrow, look at the arrow, look at the arrow. Is it gonna hit?
Oh my god, it doesn't hit. It's unfortunate. Maybe they win the game if that arrow hits, actually.
Echoes of a pass there.
The inhibitor goes down in the bot lane. The Weavers will split MDK up for a second. Humanoids look for Super, who doesn't have a flash, doesn't have a cleanse, perhaps doesn't have a hope. It's straight.
John to keep no inhibitor turret in the
Frisk, as long as it's something that makes it difficult for the Nidalee to dive in, for the AD carries to hit onto the front line.
I think to see a slow push coming through here on this top side. I think, yeah, maybe we're not.
Yeah, MDK has a small advantage, but they haven't been able to stack up Drakes, and it's only 4k gold after 30 minutes, so it's not super huge, and I still don't think they can actually just straight up 5v5 Fnatic at this point in time. They need to still get picks.
It's actually pretty powerful when the Baron falls off. Those minions no longer as tanky as they once were.
We're actually stuck around tank stats to go into Oscar now.
Gonna struggle to contest the next dragon, but all things can.
You have a Thor.
This next dragon, because Mirren is going to be able to continuously push really difficult as long as Mirren just plays for push. So you always have to defend your base. So I think Fnatic have to forego this just in case Mirren tries to just sneak into the back of the base.
You guys make great points, but there's something about my instincts that say that I'm a little worried for MDK. I
mean, I get it, buddy.
It's just one of those things where, like,
I mean, they're brute.
Have you ever played those games where, like, you feel like you're winning, but at the same time you feel like it could swing just like that?
Weaver's Wall goes down. Mirwin and Yoya separated. The Drake, the target for Frescowi, should be able to secure it. They do. Inside Super and
It's huge that actually isn't soul right there.
Nature's grass down. Humanoid's going to tank it. Jun's going to do the same. Mikhail's on him first. Alvaro goes in with a Magna Storm on the backline. Jun down to half HP already. Alvaro the same. Oscar in with an arm into the wall. Frescowi stunned up with a one-up. Frescowi's down. On him first. Alvaro goes in with a Magna Storm on the backline.
What happens to Frescowi here?
Alvaro the same.
He goes into melee range and then just gets gnarled and then flashes. By the way, absolutely could have gone onto Jun and then reset this way instead of jumping in and getting gnarled. Like, why are we trying to save Alvaro after he already dropped his load onto the front line? Like, he comes in and uses his skills, so he doesn't need to be saved. What we need to do is get resets off of Leona. Instead, Frescowi decides to lose the game. You thought he would get ult off before Meganar? That's such a risky play, though. I think you absolutely go for Leona and try and mop up Humanoid here. All right, why are we trying to beat him on a timing?
A single moment is sometimes all it takes, and Oscar, a player that ends up dying at the end of it, hasn't been able to find that ultimate in this game, but a single ultimate may be all that he needed.
Super and Mirwin versus Razork, Noah, and Humanoid, and that's a battle we'll have to wait for because their Super's pushing on the inhibitor in the bot lane. Fnatic won't go for more. The Baron up as well. They want to reset for that before the rest.
The ultimate. Jun then turns in. Alvaro does a great job of interrupting Noah, and I thought that was.
Yeah, the Alvaro interrupt on Noah. Like, Alvaro, I think, does a good engage here, but the rest of the team is just focused, and you need to actually kill single targets very quickly with MDK's composition and snowball that. Alvaro can die here, it doesn't matter.
He ends up going down, and Super, because he was caught out from River, wasn't able to get into a position to follow up on the rest of the fight, and they're just not as strong in the 5v5.
Ooh, this is going to be fast.
Double TP. It's going to be fast, as you say, Betty. MDK already down to 4,000. It's gone. The Baron secured for the Mad Lions. Koi, can they get out of the fight? They should be able to.
Weaver's Wall? There it is.
The Weaver's Wall, who will be separated. Alvaro weaved away.
Onto the map. They said that much harder for Fnatic to turn this
Another
game
Baron,
around.
though, for MDK.
You can't just 5v5. It's not that simple. You have to. It's mainly because of the Nidalee. Like, this late into the game, so far Frescowi has kind of been able to compensate for what I think has been a largely unimpactful Nidalee. But now you're kind of at the point where you need.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if this Nidalee is just not going to do much, like, ignore the score line. If this Nidalee is not going to have much of an effect in this game, with, you know, a 3,500 gold lead. What's the point of playing this champion? Got basically every advantage you could want. One top side, TP'd bot, helped win bot. Or like helped counteract the loss in bot, I should say.
We've seen Noah coming out of fights at full HP just because of how powerful that Ivan can be.
And also, it's just armor across the board here for Fnatic, so that double AD, that lack of an AP damage dealer is really going to start to hurt them now, as they're not going to be able to take out these fights as quickly as they can.
Flare only gets the slow onto Mirwin. Zenith blade short. Nature's Grasp used by Adioya to try and disengage the play. The inhibitor still stands. MDK with that Baron for another minute will push through the mid lane. Noah opens up on Frescowi. Frescowi! Need to get out of there.
Yeah, Noah can't.
Oh, Dash! And Frescowi! Another minute will push through the mid lane. Noah opens up on Frescowi. Frescowi! Need to get out of there.
Yeah, Noah
Frescowi doesn't ult him. Ults him way too late.
Is down, and how many times have we doubted Noah in the clutch? How many times have we seen him be?
No, it is having a good series though.
Lose, perhaps. This time, he's the reason they win.
It was a moment where he doubted himself. A huge confidence play for Noah.
Sure, they have borrowed up creeps, but how much is that going to help them out here?
Quite got the damage on them yet. Now
It's crazy that those fights, Frescowi's positioning just cost them the game. Beganar!
It's all done, but the singing, I feel. Frescowi comes in, there's no wave left for Fnatic. Perhaps I spoke too quickly, and the Oil's still looking for that flank, but Noah, look at the heals on him as he begins to rattle through this minion wave. The first Nexus tower.
Yeah, they've really struggled with like comp win conditions. I think MDK in the last couple of games, like trying to identify how to create picks, not to take some of these fights, team fighting properly with their comp around the Tristana. It's rough. It's rough. All right, quick bathroom break, guys, and I'll be back.
Okay, I'm going to start us off once again.
All right. Another game.
With an Azir ban, no surprises there.
The series. If they choose
Okay, Azir, Yone, we're still... Okay, Fnatic back on red side. They realize Mad Lion's very annoying, even though they just won with Mad Lions on red side. Are you going to get a family pet? I have 2 cats. They're just in the States. Ezreal, first pick. I think this is better for Mad Lions Koi. They're going to take away the Trist. I think that's smart with how Fresco is playing. You're a lot less worried about his Ezreal probably than the Tristana after seeing it last game. Yes, he threw, but they shouldn't have thrown. Taking away the flex pick Zeri, so all the flexes are off the board right now for MDK.
Or Seraphine as well. I wouldn't mind Seraphine.
Instead, they're going for some engage. They want to put Jun on something that can start fights. I will say.
Okay, so we should ban junglers if we're Mad Lions.
This Ezreal can potentially go.
Or top laners, I guess.
Is very powerful, but maybe it's a Leah, maybe
or mid laners.
Maybe even something like the Vex if you want a little bit.
Other AD carry picks available. It's just a case of how deep Fresco wants to go into that champion pool. Over in the Zyra here, I personally kind of shown.
Rumble is going to be still available. Why are we waiting to pick Rumble here? We're going to play LeBlanc for Frescoe, and we're back to just blinding Nidalee topside.
And then did what?
Yeah, here's the problem. He played the job he can do is provide sideline.
Back to Cassandre. Cassandre was banned when they wanted to pick this last time. At least Cassandre will have better durability.
Difference is Fnatic have more tools to match this time around.
Against Nidalee all-ins.
I think I give Fnatic the edge once more.
Yeah, I agree with
The Varus ban after seeing Triss Zeri, that's because they were going to pick Nidalee. They were afraid of Varus top. I'm pretty sure. Because it's Europe. And that's a thing. In Europa.
You've got strong front line. It just feels like you kind of
to be this strong side lane threat because
They were batting out range tops
I think I give
here.
Fnatic the edge once more.
And then blinding the Nidalee. I don't know why you do this. Like I just wasn't impressed with the Nidalee last game.
Like LeBlanc Sin, LeBlanc Jarvan. Yeah. These are the type of things that I think of when I pair it with the LeBlanc. I want
Crazy this region wins worlds. Is that your hopium? Fallout Vom.
Side lanes or gain advantages through. But it's clear the consensus is that we like Fnatic's comp. We'll get into the game though and see how things pan out because things on paper are never often the way, they never materialize the way that we expect. And we're jumping into game 4 and MDK has surprised us before. They pushed G2 to game 5, ultimately beating them. And they'll need to do the same thing against Fnatic here today.
But this is why Benny never writes down his predictions. He only verbalizes them because then they would never materialize.
There's a KR solo queue player dominating with Varus Locket Rush mid and top. Really? Just kills everyone with passive, and then Riot just buffed Varus next Worlds patch. Wild. Wild times. Well, at least, here's the thing, guys. At least you can say, like, the Nidalee and the LeBlanc should have some synergy, either as a 1-3-1, right? Or to help facilitate get picks, either on the Nidalee, the Nidalee can come to the LeBlanc side lane, or the LeBlanc can come to the Nidalee side lane.
150 HP off Frescoe as he gets to
So the comp feels a little bit better. Again, though, this is really, I think, more of a pick composition. They're not going to be able to really stand up to a lot of the front-to-back 5v5s. They, like, opt into mid and late game fights.
about 300 HP.
It's going to make him very passive in this laning phase, so maybe an opportunity for LEC.
So,
He did miss more, though.
Yeah.
Do you think G2 will ban Nid against MDK? No, I think it wasn't the Nidalee, even though, sure, they lost the Nidalee game. It was the constant flexing of Ezreal, Smolder, and Zeri that threw G2 off, especially since G2 doesn't play Zeri in bot side. It was like Han's first Zeri game this year, maybe? It was definitely this split, possibly this year on Zeri. So I think it was mostly G2's reluctance to adapt to the meta that gave MDK a bunch of whack-ass flex picks. They looked a lot more meta in the series that they played against Giant X, though.
Electrocute back up. Frescoe not going for it yet. There's the trigger seed. And Humanoid respects it, jumps away.
Yeah, and he knows that he's within kill range. So he's going to go back to base, has the TP available. Smart to base here from Friskawi, knowing that the wave is pushing towards him. So Humanoid will lose a few more creeps. Completing his clear with Alyoya doing the same. Just ultimately a trade back and forth in terms of farm.
I think the fact that MDK are both pushing side lanes is going to make things a little bit easier for them, because it always always makes it a little bit more difficult for Fnatic to try and play around a very heavy. He is going to want to play very aggressively, and Friskawi kind of permanently.
Humanoid still being traded on here by Friskawi, as you say. Expect them just to be constantly whistling away the opponent's health bars. Elio is down towards the bottom side. Unbreakable coming out from Alvaro. Jun doesn't go in. Wisely backs away from it. And Alvaro is on the losing side of that trade, but he's got double biscuit, double popped. So I think he'll be able to sustain up in the near future.
I don't want to see Smolder Worlds. Like, man, I'm a giant Smolder hater, but I don't mind him in the current meta. He's fine.
Alyoya coming in as well. Jun falling low, and he's hit with a Winter's Bite.
I wonder what have they said, which is going to be the Worlds patch yet? I haven't seen that.
You get to just spend a lot of time.
Is it like 14-18? It's either going to be 14-17 or 14-18 should be Worlds patch. I bet it's 14-18.
Needs to be careful because Alyoya's here once again. There's the root caller. Trigger seed, jump away. Humanoid able to buffer out just in time.
Just barely, though, because you can see how close that was to the roof being able to keep him in check and then not be able to escape. But again,
it's usually 18.
Being able to trade that little bit
Yeah, but yeah, I think they will have one more patch in the cycle. 14-19, people are saying. Well, 14-17 comes out. But World starts on the 25th of September. It's under a month away. Is it really just going to be 14-19? They're cutting it. That's going to cut it really close.
The bad news is that Jun, well, lost his summoners and is prone to another potential gank. We're seeing the setup that you have on Ezreal across Braum. Fnatic starting this one off after Humanoid just went back to base. Could be a little ambitious.
It's a lot ambitious, Betty.
And they realize it's going to just completely back away.
Everybody in base right now. Why are we starting this before Fnatic? Just leashed it.
Cool. Thanks for the leash. Humanoid still only just getting past his tier 3. Mirwin gonna get knocked back with the all out. Oscar in is still on the chase, and Mirwin flashes the pot enough to keep only just getting past his tier 3. Mirwin gonna get knocked back with the all out. Oscar in is still on the chase, and
flashes for it. Almost got it.
Pot enough to keep him alive. And now Fnatic get the Drake.
How did that happen?
I think it's 19 from a post on Twitter. Woo, that's going to cut it really close to the start of play-ins.
After that, I'm not entirely certain.
It looks like MDK just really respected the fact that Fnatic were coming in, because Humanoid just got to the mid lane.
Yeah, it might have been the fact that Humanoid come back and then Friskawi hadn't had a chance to reset. In any case, yeah, objective secured. Oscar showing that in this matchup it's definitely not as one-sided as it was before. Super getting very low, and Razzle covering around level 6.
Razzle hit 6. Stranglethorn's down, Elio is still only level 4. Look at the discrepancy in that jungle. Double the CS numbers for Razork. Now there's a few camps that have been primed by Elioya, but he's not going to be able to get to them anytime soon because he has to stay under here.
Look at the man behind the curtain.
Look, Fnatic invented the bush strat. You know what? Takes the plate. Jun can jump away. Concussive blows primed on him, but still needs 3 autos to get that off. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the Buster Shot back on Friskawi takes him down to about 300 HP. Noah and Jun still just getting the push in the mid lane. It looks like both the junglers will back away.
There are a number of things happening. First thing first, Humanoid has to trade aggressively in mid to make it hard for Friskawi to run. With the amount of pressure that Fnatic investing on the bot side of the map, the worst thing you can do is have that mid lane involvement. So Humanoid, knowing that the goal is not ready to die, on top of that, Ivern just hovering around bot side just meant that he was wasting.
Oscarden doing really well in this matchup overall.
He was chipping away at their HP. But crucially, Noah was just
so pretty even so far. Obviously, in this game, I just wonder, if you're not going to be able to get the advantages from Nidalee, and you're not going to ban out the Cassante, like they banned Rumble Cassante last game and then counterpicked with Nidalee. Like they clearly didn't want the Nidalee Cassante matchup, so why were they picking it here? By blinding it, they should have known this was coming in.
Clearing out these bot camps. The grubs will still be there for a while, of course. There is a fairly narrow window.
Blanc hasn't been opened up on the map yet either. And bot lane's basically just been a farm fiesta.
An elevated call, so I'd like that Fnatic are kind of prioritizing keeping Noah in a good spot.
Don't need to cross map when you can just make sure that you're not losing on the bot side. As you say, there is a Drake up in it. And as soon as the started by Razor, Noah Engine overstep, the root caller comes. As you say, there is a Drake up in a minute and a half. The grub's now probably going to be started by Razor. Noah Engine.
Oh, just a surprise, Daisy.
Root caller comes out, and Jun's life is forfeit.
Thought they had recalled. Didn't know Ivern was there to cover. But like, why are we walking up when our jungler is in the top side? I mean, why are we walking up? They could be lane ganking you. Your jungler is making a call to go grubs right now. I mean, I guess maybe they don't care because they get grubs for free, but there aren't going to be second grubs now, so grubs are irrelevant.
Is able to sneak his way into the brush and catch Fnatic off guard. Jun pays the price once more, and it's another kill in favor of MDK. Oscar though,
with the all-out once again, but Mirwin has the pounce. Yep.
All right. I thought that he would try to get the kill there. Looks like he was just a bit of back.
No. Lightning crash flash from Alvaro, misses the Windows Piper, hits the auto attack. The stun comes down with the concussion.
I thought that he would try.
Wow, then Noah dies too. Jesus.
No. Lightning crash flash from Alvaro, misses the Windows Piper.
Flash from Alvaro to proc. Winter's Bite. Ooh, that's ugly, guys. That is ugly.
He's going to be stunned up immediately, though. Super still has the cleanse, but you can't cleanse a buster shot. A rocket to the back will send anyone packing. Humanoid flashing forward, looking for more. Alvaro eats the damage. Super misses the Windows Piper, hits the auto attack.
He was walking up to bait them in so that the TP could come down. So TP unleashed at 10 minutes. So Humanoid actually can TP to a ward behind and try and get 2 kills here. So the call must have been this.
Super still has the cleanse, but you can't cleanse a buster shot. A rocket to the back will send anyone packing. Humanoid flashing forward, looking for more. Alvaro
Oof.
eats the damage.
Bad flash.
Yeah, I think the flash was really worth it. But I'm sure Humanoid realizes that in hindsight. He tried to get 2 kills.
Yelton and Braum W. Indeed he did.
Mirwin still has the pounce.
Yeah, and Oscar
He doesn't have mana. Oscar has no mana.
Oscar doesn't have
He
much
just
mana.
does that. Just because, you know, you have so much mobility. Trade in, dash away, heal. Be super, super, super annoying.
Yeah, I think it was just a mistiming on that play. They probably were trying to draw them into the turret for a TP behind because they realized that Trist was back in base at 10 minutes.
The game state, MDK find themselves with 3 kill leads. The objective control going in favor of Fnatic, though. The Dragon is going to be respawning in 5 seconds.
Monty would be streaming Genji versus DK? No.
And he has no TP
Nope.
either, which means testing this Dragon is
Oh, not live. Tomorrow? Sure. Yeah.
They've also put Noah into
We'll hit it up tomorrow. I don't have co-streaming though, so I'm not going to do it. I also have SI tonight, so I couldn't do it also because I have to do SI.
Now, beautifully, as you say, set up for the Dragon, so
I need to like take care of my children and eat dinner and then do SI, and the series will probably still be going on during SI. But I'll VOD review it tomorrow. Why Genji pick DK? T1 probably has a higher ceiling. T1 has a higher ceiling. You know, T plus is good, but I'm not sure you're quite as worried about them as like an on-form T1.
So as you highlighted, all of this was.
Do I think it'll be a quick 3-0? I think 3-1.
When we think back to the lane assignments, you send Noah bot to catch the wave. That Humanoid's about to leave. Then Humanoid goes back to mid. He catches the wave, and then they're in a position to be able to contest the Drake.
Yeah, guys. What do you want? What do you mean you want to eat dinner? Such a slacker. Yeah, I do. Here's my day, guys. I got up today, recorded Nerd Legion with Doa, sent out a bunch of business emails, did work, streamed for you for a number of hours. And then, yes, I'm going to take a small break before I stream again for 3 hours or however long SI takes.
Because one of those pieces got interrupted, and, you know, the Drake contest goes out the window. Grabs in about a minute and a half, and I think that Fnatic really should prioritize.
I'm sorry I didn't make enough content for you today. Guys, I apologize. It'll only end up being 2 podcasts and 3 hours of streaming.
MDK will take him out.
This is kind of where we've seen Jun again just make these missteps of going in too far. Razork wasn't there to follow up, and although he flashed nicely over the binding,
More. Don't worry, Adanian. I'll give you more. I'll give you more. Don't you worry. I'll start 3 more culture shows, Danian, and then you can join me in the suffering, okay? Okay, buddy? What are you gonna do when I start playing all the Star Wars games? And Danian, you don't want me to have more time. Because when I have more time, you get more work.
Way too far of an overextension from John, and just these little mistakes are piling up. But when you actually look at the goal at the top of your screen, it hasn't really amounted to a huge amount, thanks to that lead that Noah has been building in the bottom side.
That Super's been building in the bottom side.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's the mid lane lead for Humanoid. Super has the lead in the bot lane. Lightning Crash coming out from Noah. The minion tanks a couple of his auto attacks. He's looking for more.
Not even 3-hour cooking stream. I'm sure that'll come next week.
Perhaps Noah might be lead for Humanoid. Super has the lead.
What do you guys want me to make on the cooking stream?
Lightning Crash coming out from Noah. The minion tanks a couple of his auto
I already have no time? Yeah, same.
attacks.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's the mid lane lead for Humanoid. Super has the lead in the bot lane. Lightning Crash coming out from Noah. The minion tanks a couple of his auto attacks.
Why do we have kids, Danian?
And okay, perhaps Noah might be able to build a little bit of a lead, but Jun takes the kill in the end. Lightning Crash coming out from Noah. The minion tanks a couple of his auto attacks. He's looking for more. Jun is hit.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's the mid lane lead for Humanoid.
What is Super doing up so far with everybody in base?
Coming out from Noah. The minion tanks a couple of
And the call is apparently to go to Herald.
auto attacks. He's looking for more. Jun is hit. And okay, perhaps Noah might be able to build a little bit of a lead, but Jun takes the kill in the end. Still.
Noah had to use his barrier.
What's the podcast with Doa? Nerd Legion here. It's here.
The minions, those pesky minions always block the burst.
Right there. There's a link to it in chat.
I figured that the ultimate pass
Chilaquiles? Oh, man. Chilaquiles are delicious. Chicken shawarma? I can do the shawarma.
So, hey, they still get a kill. It's the good news for Fnatic. Bad news is, Grubs are gone. Herald now alive, and it's MDK that's first to the objective.
Ezreal wins that if not for Rel. Yes, but Rel was body blocking for him at the end, and the call from his team was to go for Herald, because that's where Alvaro and El Yo-Yo were going, so why are we all inning? By the way, Rel is still here at this fight. We don't have to be greedy, guys. We could just, I don't know, follow the team's calls.
Can't get close enough. And MDK will get their second objective in around 3 minutes.
Yeah, and again, Fnatic kind of just staring as this objective gets.
Don't worry, Monty. In like 5 years when they're at school all day, we shall have some time again. That's my life. My kids are at school all day.
They do push in mid and at least look like they're going to be able to connect onto the bottom side. So I guess if we get a TP from first guy, I don't know if it's quite up yet.
Alvaro puts the Unbreakable down, has stand beside me. Jun could look here.
Just the heal to get that extra bit of movement speed. Frazzle in a bit of danger.
Frequent drives lately, so we're going to tap into the LFN Culture channel. You haven't seen it yet? God damn.
The roof doesn't quite connect. Top tower goes in favor of MDK as the bot lane is likely to be traded by humanoids.
It's weird though. Like you could have just had first guy TP down to the bottom side to defend that, and you would have been in a fine spot. So you just end up a tower up. But instead, they kind of just put the double up into that top side, and now I've lost that tower in the bottom side, so it ends up 1-for-1. So I'm not sure what they're planning for Frescowi's TP, because the only objective that's really up is Dragon, and Frescowi's on that side of the map. So I thought maybe even if they swapped mirror into bottom side then.
Okay, even though trying to create pressure, does get a tier 1 turret. They're slightly behind in terms of, I mean, they're not really behind in terms of gold. But they do have pressure now in order to take this Drake.
I think we'd see Super cresting over.
How is like your 8-month-old at school in daycare, buddy?
Now it's Super and El Yo-Yo in the mid lane. Merwin's coming in from the side. Jun can just jump away, so he's not under too much threat here on the Rel. I say that as Merwin looks for the pounce. Will dash in, hit with the Shadowing Strike. Rifthold in the mid lane will charge this.
We just started sending him.
Just keeping Jun very busy. Noah and Razzle trying to defend the turret, but they need to get out of there. The Rifthold charging in and Daisy following suit. The tower in mid falls. MDK get their second.
All right, I mean, this is good play, though, in the side lanes by Humanoid. They're getting a lot of gold onto this Tristana.
Utilization of the Herald to unlock this mid tower gives them greater control to set up for this bot tower as well. They're already starting to put deep vision on the bot side. Humanoid being a great split pusher on this Tristana.
The thing is, Fnatic can just opt out of this Drake pretty easily if they want to focus on mid turret or tier 2 and top side.
On the Dragon, resets need to come through for us to do the same. He's sticking around.
Okay, now Frescowi's TP actually does have use. Humanoid no TP, so yeah, they're gonna have to give up Drake.
you're giving up jungle control on bot
So
side
we're
anyway,
getting deep
because
wards
you know
into
that
topside
Humanoid can't
jungle,
come
trying to
across. You
put
don't have
pressure
the
onto
TP
tier
advantage
2.
anymore, because both Frescowy and Maywin have theirs, and you can see Fnatic just passed into this topside jungle. They weren't really thinking about contesting second Drake if MDK started up immediately.
Oh, nice pick though, and Super, he's forced.
Please
there.
don't play
So
Star Wars
I think they
Outlaws.
Could have potentially tried to just gate Frescowy.
Well,
So that
I think
top
Star
side
Wars
of the map
Outlaws, from what I understand, will probably be better after a few patches. It seems like it's just glitchy.
He's going to push out top. You have some great teams.
And by the way, if I play every Star Wars game, guess who's going to have to play Star Wars Outlaws? This guy. That'll be the last game that I play, though. Actually, it's probably not true, because they probably release another Star Wars game before I finish. It'll be the second to last game that I play, if I play them in chronological order.
Maywin's in the pit. There's the TP behind. Noah jumps across with the blast cone. Jun is on the wrong side of the wall. The rest of his team down in the river right now. Frescowy spotted with that Scryer's Bloom. The Dragon down to 4,000. Frescowy still looking for the flank, but it's only on to Oscar Rin, and Pathmaker comes out. Glacial Fisher, the Magnus Storm, but they can't go in because with that Scryer's Bloom. The Dragon down to 4,000. Frescowy still looking for the flank, but it's only on to Oscar Rin, and Pathmaker comes out.
I mean, you get a flash in here, you get a flash engage, but where is the actual damage? Noah's not actually autoing anybody, and Humanoid is dueling on the flank, so Jun has nothing here. Frescowy is going to be able to pincer them on the side. There is no follow-up. They also can't do it because the Glacial Fissure is there. So Braum goes down, makes sure that Noah can't actually do anything. He's just slowed the entire time. It's a good fight by MDK, pretty patient. Ivern is very annoying with the AD in Italy, holy shit. When you say all, does that like include like the Atari games via ROMs? So the criteria is, I mean, I could play the Atari games, is major consoles single player. So no Star Wars Galaxy MMO, but I will play the Old Republic because you can play that single player and there's a storyline. But yeah, all consoles. No plug and play games, no mobile games, no handheld games, but PC consoles, yes. My estimate is it will take 1,000 hours to play all Star Wars games.
The dash in from Jun is blocked by the Unbreakable, and Fnatic went forward, but the only place they're going is back to the fountain.
MDK keep the dance going, and Fnatic
Play Force Unleashed? Yes, Play Force Unleashed. Yes, that would count as a major title.
That ultimate from Alvaro was crucial at denying the follow-up.
The Alvaro was very good here. It actually stopped any kind of follow-up. Mirwin also plays this well. I mean, they play well around the poke with the Ezreal in Italy. I didn't think about how annoying this would be with Ivern brushes. Ivern works really well. It actually makes the Nidalee somewhat viable in these team fights. Or at least poking in the neutral.
No, I think I've got a kill here. He ends up overstepping, and MDK turned the fight into a 1-for-5.
And MDK fans really like that one. The fact that you're able to just play so well around this in and out from Frescowy, the poke that can come through, the setup there, and even Alvaro as well, giving his life with that shield just to make sure that Supa could get the damage he needed off. I mean, you're going to be very happy with that one. The setup
for 5.
But I don't know why we're like trying to take an objective after this. Why are we trying to take this, like, why are we trying to like walk around? And we're under our turret and we're safe, and then we just like see Mirwin with no mana, so we assume we can kill him.
And MDK fans really like that one. The fact that you're able to just play so well around this in and
so awkward.
Pounces on his target. Fnatic tried to escape, but Humanoid says, no, I think I've got a kill here. He ends up overstepping, and MDK...
The heals are crazy, too. I mean, that Italy still has 1,000 HP at the end of the day, so quite difficult to kill. Fnatic just got desperate. Well, game's over now.
Definitely are. Your struggle of the game has really found it difficult, and then the win.
I think Fnatic don't have enough engage for the Rady carries to really do damage.
I look forward to the glorious PlayStation games like Star Wars Rebel Assault 2. I love Star Wars Rebel Assault.
Truthfully, they
I
are
played those
just
games on
outmatched,
computer
especially in the sustain battle.
back in the day. Even if you killed the nid, what then? Great question. Which region looks better at this moment, China or Korea? I think the top 2 in Korea look better. I think the top 4 in China maybe look better. Will you ever consider making content on Planescape Torment? So Planescape Torment is one of my favorite games ever. The problem with Planescape Torment is this. If I were to stream Planescape Torment, it has no voice acting. So I would have to read every line of dialogue, and there's something like 600,000 words of dialogue in that game. So I don't know how good a Planescape Torment stream would actually be, or Planescape Torment content. Love that game though.
But unfortunately now they are on the back foot. Frescowi gonna find Oscar in as he just walks past.
I think that's
It's an all-time great game in terms of writing and storyline.
Look at Noah.
Noah dashes across the wall, is rooted. Frescowi going back in, and Alvaro finds it.
It was with the ultimates through the wall. He ends up getting that.
Just the tip.
That must have been just a pixel that hit him there.
And now the Baron begun from MDK. They've already caught out Noah. 0-3-3 this game. And what can Fnatic do?
I'm sure all 3 Planescape enjoyers would watch it.
MDK will get the Baron 22 minutes in. Now Humanoid will take a tier 2 for this. But MDK will have 3 minutes with a Baron buff to find everything.
We can make it a mega cut to promote Amati's acting career. No, thank you.
It's interesting how this series has kind of been defined by single fights that just give a team such a massive...
Immediately Humanoid Pathmaker, true, they will know because of the control ward. Counter TP from Frescowi.
It's much more deliberate poke composition though from MDK. They seem to be doing better with these poke, like a poke comp, than they have been with some of the more pick comps that they've tried to run. The problem, I think the problem with playing Zyra here is that MDK never really wants to go in. So Zyra's value is very low. Like, Zyra is great when you're kiting, but if you're just dealing with poke and countering, like, kiting yourself, like, what is Zyra supposed to do? Like, Zyra hasn't done anything this game.
Which they should be able to secure here. This game becomes even more difficult now for Fnatic.
I will say, following the draft, I didn't really appreciate the strengths of the comp of MDKs. Like, we didn't like the Nidalee pick, but because often when you think of poke Nidalee, you think of AP. And it's working out beautifully. Remember that the Braum applies the passive too. Ezreal can land his Q, start stacking that passive. Like, they have so many tools to just be annoying. And Fnatic don't really have many answers, even if you engage on Chun. Like, what is your... You don't have a wombo combo. You have 280 carries. Yeah. Like, they want to kind of play this front-to-back style, but you don't really have a proper composition that sets you up.
The outranging here is pretty good, and Frescowi's positioning on LeBlanc has been good.
Stuff at you and being super annoying.
They've managed that so far this game. 4,000.
It's crazy that this... Look at this Tristana, by the way. She's 40 CS up, but she's 2,200 gold up despite having fewer kills just because of solo turret gold this game.
They just traded 2 tier 2s for a single 1 forfeit.
There's very little that they can kind of do with LeBlanc being in such a good position in against Fnatic.
The Zeri, force a fight. Find its mark. You know, Fnatic over jungle, so they really shouldn't be stepping outside of their base anyway.
All right, finally, it looks like Razork managed to get an ult off. See how this happens. Oh, nice. Nice, actually, double root there. But flashes are up, so I guess it doesn't matter. The throws. That's the problem, though, if you don't actually get the poke down first and you get the engage. Fnatic's comp is a lot better. They have no setup there, and they're wandering around the jungle.
You can find they end up with this ice Fnatic. You are still incredibly strong. You have a 3-item Tristana, and Fnatic, they find that moment. MDK are trying to play for their lanes, but they end up with this isolated 3v3.
Thing is, there's no pressure, right? They're trying to invade, but there's actually just no pressure. So it's free to walk into the jungle here. They don't actually, you know, if you don't see anybody in this situation, it becomes very difficult to justify going into the jungle. Like you can, I feel like you can go here and kind of wait, but you need to get pressure at least here first before you try and get in the super deep vision.
Jump in with humanoid. Look, Super's not doing damage. Frescowi's not doing damage, and Oyoya's dead.
But they need to see where people are on the map. They're doing that really blind.
I mean,
Just the timing is just weird and bad.
Which is, can you find the engage or not, right? And this time round, they just said, okay, Cassante, we need you to do your thing. And he's like, okay, cool, I'll walk at them menacingly. And he did it. And
take the fight, apparently.
And so that's what he did. And then Eliora's like, oh, I gotta flash this.
Follow him in the bush. Avina's flown, but instead they decided now is the time.
Mirwin actually TPs here too, which is pretty bad.
Looking for a little bit more humanoid dumping in. The unbreakable from
MDK just has to get their poke down, and they have to get LeBlanc into a flank position in order for this comp to work, like we saw at Drake earlier.
What fights like this though, if they want to turn this game around, because it's MDK that's still at sole point.
They actually don't get Baron though, right? Because it's still down, so it's not the end of the world.
They need to keep finding fights like
Why haven't it TP in now? They shouldn't have done that. It's badly played by MDK.
And let's say Fnatic start the fight.
Is the or should be trying to fight is
come off course from Noah and Jun. So if you can find same, Elioya has no flash for a little while, and Mirwin's about half the cooldown left, and Fnatic have flashes across the board apart from on.
The fact you've just got 3 items.
Super unbreakable down for Scowie going to Razzle though. The chains only hit onto Jun. Glacial Fisher just shot. Humanoid opening up on Mirwin. Oscar finds one. Elioya's caught out. Jun looking for that Magnet Storm. Super able to dash away from River Albu. Does not have that same luxury. Super caught as finds one. Elioya's caught out. Jun looking for that Magnet. Unbreakable down for Scowie going to Razzle though. The chains only hit onto Jun. Glacial Fisher just shot. Humanoid opening up on Mirwin. Oscar finds one. Elioya's caught out. Jun looking for that Magnet Storm. Super able to dash away from River Albu. Does not have that same luxury. Mirwin. Oscar finds one.
Find one moment like this. It could be
Super unbreakable down for Scowie.
Why are they walking forward? Why is Alvaro walking forward here? Why is he walking forward? The Glacial Fissure was what, by the way, caused them to be able to zone out Humanoid and Noah in previous fights. Instead, Humanoid is able just to flash forward now. Why is Alvaro walking forward? What the fuck, man? I don't understand why you would waste Bromult right there. Why would you walk forward and then Bromult?
Finding those moments, and Razor
it gets hit across, finds that route onto Super.
And what is he doing? He's what okay, but what happens if you kill Razork here? You still lose this fight. Great flash by Humanoid though.
Menacingly at his opponents. He's drawing the attention of 3 members, while Humanoid is getting a solo kill onto Mirwin on the side. But this is exactly the type of play that MDK don't want. When we think back to that Dragon from earlier, it was a dance back and forth, chipping away at the HP bars from Fnatic, very non-committal. But in this situation, the moment you use that
don't have the damage
all over. No, but Humanoid's going to try and hit
down. Miro might get taken down though.
Yeah, he does have the flash. Frescowie coming to join the party. Humanoid with a double buster. Call him Keelan because he's bustering all over them. Humanoid's going to try and heal up. Frescowie's down to half HP. Mirwin about the same. The chains land once again. Frescowie's clone is forced out. Mirwin has an explosion.
He's casually 1v2ing them.
Yeah, no, but Humanoid can just delay. Who cares? The bot side is winning. Frescowie dives in. They have to get back. The TP's in.
It was a good delay.
Fnatic get the inhib. Frescowie won't use his teleport because it's not up for another.
Force Mirwin's TP.
Mirwin TP'd in. Fnatic open up at the bot side. 3 minutes on the Drake. The Baron buff remains for 1.5. Not sure they'll be able to get too much more out of that.
I mean, well played from Fnatic. Humanoid doing what he needs to, drawing pressure on the shot for the GA. He can get a.
But it just feels like last game again, where you find 1 or 2 fights for Fnatic, and now they're in a team fighting comp with these big objectives.
Thing is, like now MDK can actually force this Mountain Soul fight potentially. God, Ivern is so annoying at defending sieges with all these brushes.
The Baron expiring in 4 seconds time. Humanoid opens up on Super. Alvaro goes in with the Winter's Bite. Glacial Fisher. Frescowie has a good flank. Dashes in twice and takes out Humanoid.
When Glacial Fissure is used properly, guys, it just straight up wins the game for MDK. How did he get humanoid? Woo! How does humanoid take all his damage? Oh, he takes damage from Supa. Supa shifts forward. And then they hit the mega glacial. This is how they should play, though. Like, look at the difference here. Look at the difference here. You're controlling vision. Poke here from Ezreal. Poke here from Mirwin. Frescoe on the flank. This is exactly how they won that Drake fight, too. So you create the pocket, and then they collapse into it, right? It's actually a good bait. It's actually a good bait there by Super, I think. By Supa. Bromult is so important.
Alvo going forward once again. Oscarinin sacrifices himself for the good of the team, but MDK have other plans. Noah down. The shutdown to Super. It might potentially end. Frescoe will come in.
Nice CP. Frescoe not dying there actually wins this game, by the way. Guy takes an enormous amount of damage. And Razork isn't quite able to kill him, doesn't he? Already used his flash. If Frescoe dies right there, I don't think they can end, but because he's able to recall and then get TP, they kill Razork and end.
He shuts down Humanoid. They've set their sights on the Nexus. Jun is back.
There aren't many minions left. Humanoid's up in 8 seconds time. If Jun can kill a couple of these minions, maybe he can hold on to hope. He tried to take one, concussive blows will slow him. There's still one minion there, and that's all MDK needed. Humanoid jumps in. Down now. Super Alpha goes in with the Winter's Bite. Glacial Bishop.
Rel also whiffed her ult, but you can't ult more. That's the thing about this is you even if Rel hits this, if Jun hits this ult, it doesn't matter because nobody's there to actually follow up, and they're still getting zoned out, and they're still standing on the Glacial Fissure. Like, they have to kind of turtle on this, and then try and turn the engage around. Like the Rel going in there was also quite bad because now they can't stop the turn here from MDK. Not great, guys. Not great.
Stop being a fun fact. That's a bit of a dark fact.
That was a dark fact.
Team fighting has been a little bit questionable in some of these games. All right, no Ivern. Ivern. I'm actually surprised. I guess they're, Fnatic still taking the red side here, which I think is the right call. Ezreal now going to be the priority pick. I mean, Suba was good I think on the Ezreal last game. Maokai is going to be banned as well, so you're going to take what? They could just go ahead and take the Triss Zeri again. Yep, or they're going to take Corki Zeri instead, all right? Corki is the flex for Mirwin as well, so go ahead and take that out. What do you think of the Nidalee pick overall? I don't think it's good. And I also think it's especially bad. Like, they won with Ez Nidalee last time, but they had the Ivern. I'm a bit surprised they took the Ivern away because, again, Trist as Ivern is going to be really strong. But I guess they thought they would take Ivern here.
In that same vein, they fell short the final hurdle in the previous game, but they know they have the capacity to win out on this series as we move into this final phase. I wonder if they'll look to lock in support here.
I wasn't as much of a fan. You probably banned the LeBlanc this time, by the way, if you're Fnatic.
So look for that engage and then have that disengage for himself as well. So nice pickup here. Does mean the composition's a little squishy. So I think we'll be.
Because I was looking at the first ban and you were looking at the second.
I heard you say.
Okay, taking Poppy away just in case probably support. Oh no, it's jungle or top Poppy. It could be flexed. I was gonna say support Poppy into Rakan, but.
Now Fnatic is kind of planning what they want to remove next. Lilia, an AP option, makes a
surprised they didn't get rid of the LeBlanc.
Like, be something like the Zyra or the Brand that's going to come through.
I guess with the Trist, you probably already know where it's going. Although if you're keen, you play Trist top sometimes, so never can count out what Mirwin will do. But I guess the LeBlanc is not so much of a threat.
Something that the LPL has taken.
Even maybe
Okay, we're back to a Moo. Saw this in LCS also.
And they'll just say, you know what, we need an AP champ, let's bring something out. Fnatic, now the composition needs a little bit more.
a counter punch.
Okay, so now they're going to play Kennen. Now, Kennen and Cassante were the two that we saw banned by Mad Lions when they were on red side because they wanted to counterpick with the Nidalee. So we're going to see the ranged matchups in the top side again. Really big composition for Zeri to potentially clean up with off of the crowd control.
The movement is very telegraphed when he goes in, so if you can then have that flank position for the Kennen, you can try and provide that counter engage.
This is, for me though, this is a little bit confused. Like when you want the Amumu, when you take the Amumu, you know, this is about team fighting, but you don't have MF. There's no MF for Curse of the Sad Bullet time, and the Nidalee doesn't feel great, but I guess you could reset with Trist maybe.
So I do like us here.
But I think MDK, you know, they were good when they actually had Ivern in that last game.
Amumu jungle from MDK.
With Asnid and the LeBlanc on the flank, but now they kind of have to fight front to back with the Nidalee again.
I mean, apparently that's a comfort pick.
Qualified.
We'll be waiting. It's been a long series.
Fun fact.
And they were like,
yeah, by the enemy team.
Rock, and then you outvalue the trade and go for it.
Breakable going to be thrown up to mitigate any potential trade back, but push being engaged.
What's with the Amumu picks in LCS and now LEC? Well, I didn't understand it in LCS because Maokai was up, and Maokai was a much better pick, particularly into Ivern, because you can use your ults if they're hiding in Ivern brushes, and you could drop saplings into them. So that was, I thought, pretty bad.
Not that far behind.
Is Elioya going to go and try and contest red?
I mean, Amumu, and also, but the thing about Amumu is at least they had the Wombo with MF, the Curse of the Sad Bullet time combo. Like, Amumu with this composition feels pretty weird.
You know about Amumu, huh?
Maybe the Crocs. Anyone comes across, he doesn't manage to steal away from...
Well, okay, he is going to start off the red. He's playing around his pushing lanes well. The question is... MDK's bot.
Interesting pathing, get level 3, and then they actually invade off of the Nidalee pressure.
Well, right? So you can flank around the red, see that it's not being done. Razork wisely skipped it. He's going to get the Crocs. Anyone comes across, he doesn't manage to steal away from...
Well, okay, he is going to start off the red. He's playing around his pushing lanes well. The question is, will he be able to secure this?
It's going to reset.
But Razork, no. Oh, Elioya showed.
Ooh.
Showed. He stepped out, he was probably looking for Humanoid under the tower. And remember, Amumu has the second cube, but Humanoid has a minion wave here to save him. Flashes away. Counter flash from Elioya.
What am I watching right now?
League of Legends, Betty!
Theory, very good. You know, we already talked about the fact that MDK have 3 pushing lanes. That leveraging that, it makes easier for... Because the wave got cleared out, he then had to flash away to safety.
Interesting, Sejuani's not actually getting an invade as a result. Able to take away blue.
Small advantage.
But having...
There is a window where you can punish Humanoid back with flash, and especially if you can bring Mirren down into that play, but I think it is going to be somewhat difficult. I think you have to basically hope that you can use the push on top to invade on towards Raptors, push Razork into spots like jungle, and then look for a player off the wall or something along those lines, but at the moment just hovering around this bottom side. Fnatic should be able to crash this wave though before Elioya can make his range back.
Super had already got a sneaky base off to get himself his tier and that.
I'm sorry you're missing LCK games tonight to watch this. I'm not.
Missing CS,
I won't. We'll be done by the time LCK starts. I'm missing LCK games tonight to do with Summoning Insight.
Both the mid laners expend. Foscawi gets that Vamp Scepter, which allows him to trade a little bit more aggressively because he can.
We'll be back though tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do some VOD reviews of those LCK games. LCK's in 45 minutes. You think it's going to take 45 minutes to get through this game 5? It will not.
Jumped on here.
It's the last game of the series, guys.
Jun hit to back up, and there's the bandit shots, but a great double knockout from Jun.
There's a brawl.
Humanoid jumped on here. Foscawi still has the flash. Jun hit to back up, and there's the bandit shots, but a great double knockout from Jun.
Great job by Jun.
But he's crying now. It's just the flash. Jun hit.
Alvaro was still en route.
Up, and there's the bandit shots, but a great double knockout from Jun.
There's a brawl.
Humanoid jumped on here. Foscawi still has the flash.
The jump in is really bold, though. The jump in is really bold for that long into GAT range.
Elioya went in, but he's crying now. Fnatic found 2, and that more Elioya bandit shots, but a great double knockout from Jun. Elioya went in, But he's crying now as Frescowi's sent back to the fountain. Razork looking for more. Elioya, bandage toss goes wide, but the unbreakable won't be enough. A phosphorus bomb finds his face and sends him packing. Fnatic found 2.
And that just little bit of an overextension there cost them. Frescowi is trying to bait to get Elioya into position, but it's Jun on the roam up that doesn't get spotted. Humanoid happy.
They question mark ping that brush too, so they know that the Rakan could be there. Oh, dude, the jump though into the double knockup is so bad.
Just buys time for Humanoid to Valkyrie away from Elioya, and then Razork came to come in off the wings.
There's that small moment of patience from Jun.
Oh, we going again?
Razork Q out. Okay, Jun can jump to him.
Jun will be able to dash away.
Alright, so it's 1 for 2. I mean, Humanoid had to go back to base, so wisely Razork and Jun say, I don't think we're going to win this fight. Like, forced to concede 2 of the Void Grubs. Bot lane trade. Oh, most favorably for Super.
Noah has 6, Super does not. Noah only has a cleanse. Now Super hits the True Shot Barrage. Well, hits the threshold of having that as an ability.
So just a bit of trading. Razork does have the smite.
Burn poor.
He's got to be careful here.
Are we dying for Crab?
Trying to block the jump away from Razork.
Yep, we're walking into 4 people for Crab. Do we have bot priority? No. Should we just die for Crab? Abso-fucking-lutely we should. Do we have mid priority? No. Jesus Christ.
Gonna get knocked up here. That unbreakable will fall off.
Try and get this, will be able to get away to safety, but just a great how they convert this into 2.
When you look at Fnatic's composition, they really do want to try and get to 2 to 3 items, more on the 3 item side. Sure, MDK can try and play through the just you're limited on your options available to you to try and make plays as MDK. So I think Fnatic should get a chance to just scale into a strong game where they can try and play for these dragons.
See, Humanoid went plated steel caps first, and a cull and a tear, so he's just
sense in the context of the matchup, especially when you think that the
hit.
Yeah.
That's where it goes.
It never gets CC'd by anything.
Noah seemed a lot more comfortable in these games. Yeah, Noah has been better in these games.
Only Super, you're like, nope, not safe.
This MF play that he made, flashing forward, was very good as well.
Razork and Jun don't have the damage to get through a Braum at this point in the game. His presence alone. Did you get it? Center, yeah.
Oh, I get it. That's a good one, yeah.
Don't give him that much.
Oh, Frescowi though. Apparently, you don't need damage items on the Corki to do damage in the early game. You can just trade in with that Gatling gun, reduce the armor of your opponent.
As you said, you trade health, but if you do more damage...
Yeah, exactly, it works. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Super being able to pick up a plate in the mid lane. A plate shared 3 ways. Usually not enough of a morsel for any...
He has that ultimate.
That means Elioya can...
Flash could actually just tax himself in off of one of the minions, but decides, you know what, Noah's a bit low instead.
Noah uses the dash early there. That means Elioya can go in. Curse of the Sad Mummy. Noah has no flash, no cleanse, no hope.
Dead.
We went back in time and cursed Noah, by the way.
Uses the dash early there. That means Elioya can go in. Curse of the Sad Mummy.
He flashes but gets hit by the ult on the edge of it all the same. That's so rough. He checks Gromp and then he gets hit by Q, cleanses flash, ult, gap closed, hit by Q, the second charge of Q. Ah!
Brings a tantrum, and Noah is sent back to the fountain.
And they get both of Noah's summoners forward as well. It cost nothing for Elioya. He was just investigating the enemy bot side jungle. He thought that, oh hey, Noah's probably going to back off. This is an easy play, but he converts it into a kill.
Good catch from him, but still to go. The last time they just passed G2 and making your way straight to the ground.
Actually been MDK and G2 that have sat at the top of our table. You know, so
Who have really shown up over the course of the year.
You have to flash the first Q, yep.
Up as one of the
Indeed.
We have in the league right now, and may need to.
Indeed, you do.
As he tries to escape away here.
Yeah, he should be fine.
Turns out you can't actually flash far enough to get out of the Amumu R if you get hit by Q and he gap closes.
Jun goes in on Super. There's the arcane shift away, but the cast and Sad Mummy immediately back onto Jun. He dashes away just in time, and Elioya falls to 200 HP, but Super with a True Shot Barrage goes straight through the heart of Jun. Noah brought back as well. He tries to get the burst fire off, but he's not allowed to.
Frescowi TP actually saving the day there.
200 HP, but Super
And the exhaust onto Noah because they brought exhaust for Kennen.
Noah brought back as well. He tries to get the burst fire off, but he's not allowed to. Super gets the double. A deft hand in this fight, it seems. Another Mystic Shot hits across the...
It's actually so clever by Medic. Did you guys hear that?
Noah brought back as well. He tries to get the burst fire off, but he's not allowed to. Super gets the double. A deft hand in this fight.
Suba gets a double, a deft hand in this fight, it seems. He's referencing Suba's comment about deft. That's so funny. Well played, Medic. Well played.
Can Humanoid have that same chance? I don't think so. TP in from Oscar in and no slicing Maelstrom. They look for the tower. Frescowi can't find it in time. Oscar's half HP with no ultimate, only a flash to try and dash into this fight. Jun now back up, and MDK will pull their foot off the gas.
One kill at a time. MDK is just gaining more presence on the map. They'll secure the top tower. They'll likely secure the bottom one. The second dragon of the game is going to go their way. Razork is still hovering around, but what options does he really have here?
I can dash away, Betty, and that's about it. MDK find two Super.
Is to try and get on towards Super, but nice arcane shift away, and also
Yeah, Jun's engaged is entirely stuffed, and you get him the chain CC. Beautiful glacial fissure.
But the ult across the top from Super hits onto so many people, does a ton of damage, and Frescowi the buster shot onto both Noah.
Yeah, very nice buster shot. They're just pushed every which way. They never able to actually focus on anybody. Great kiting by MDK.
And now Mirwin finds Humanoid.
Humanoid still has the flash here. Mirwin's going to flash burst.
Uh-oh.
The Spearland doesn't need it. Just uses an auto attack to send Humanoid down under.
Mirwin getting a bit of revenge after the previous game. Humanoid on that Tristano is a menace in the side lane, but this game is very quickly falling out of the control of Fnatic.
Of course, Razork and has avoided detection, I believe. The Red-tailed. This is a 4v3. Mirwin not able to come across in time. Humanoid has the TP. Oscar unable to get close enough yet. Noah dashes in. Lightning crash. The Red-tailed smited. Razork trying to get behind them here. Oscar in is still on that flank. The quickness onto 4. Oscar has the flash, but the Glacial Fissure will lock him up. He's stunned immediately. Fnatic dived in one by one. They might have still die.
Super should be able to clean this, right?
Noah dashes across the wall. Frescowi here to join the party.
Where's Z?
But Jun and Razork will be
Wow.
able to escape. The Red-tailed was picked up by Mirwin in the end.
Fnatic, that was
Very
a
bad
chance.
fight taken there by Fnatic. Like, why are we? Why is Noah going in? I regret complimenting Noah. Why is he going in there and trying to use ult?
He tries to make the play, and MDK turn it back in Fnatic's face, and they're getting so much more on the map.
I mean, it wasn't just Alvaro, the ulti from Aljoya as well. The flash came in from Oscar, and it was Oscar who was sad. Like, he was the one that was grounded in place. The lightning didn't connect onto anyone, and they ultimately traded 1-for-1, but MDK got so much more. 2 towers fall in the mid lane, and MDK, we look back at this fight, and it's Fnatic looking to engage. Previously in the last fight, Jun didn't use his ultimate. This time around, he wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. He throws it up, he connects onto 4. The ultimate is there, but then look at Oscar. He gets knocked up, he gets rooted in place. That was so close to being a devastating. He throws it up, he connects onto 4. The ultimate.
Glacial Fissure has, again, having such huge value here. Like, Oscar gets delayed, flashes forward, only hits 1 in the end.
So close to being a devastating cannon ultimate, but Super just out of range.
Alvar actually a hero on this Braum for sure.
1 is the outcome of the fight, but the damage is so much greater.
He fucked up last game, but also his Glacial Fissures were kind of the reason they won the game.
But now he does, I might need to use it.
I think he might be dead here. Does have the flash to stand beside me onto Mirwin. Flash stand beside me. The slicing mouse from short again. Don't worry, Oscar. All guys have been there before as Razor's caught up towards the top side. Super diving in, another bandage shot, but a red buff in the way now for Super. Mystic shot onto it. Noah brings down the lightning, but Super brings down the hammer. Razork is dead once again. The red buff in the way now for Super. Mystic shot onto it. Noah brings down the lightning.
Super actually popping off this game.
Razork is dead once again. The red buff secured for Fnatic. This was the tier 2 in the slammed in their face by MDK, by Super. In fact, 5-0-1 now, and he continues to open up. Humanoid has to TP away to stop Frescowi from taking the
Oh my god, the ult's back up. Oh my god. It just came back up too.
Razork is dead
It literally comes up right here. The ult comes back up right here.
Is slammed in their face by MDK, by Super. In fact, 5-0-1 now, and he continues to open up. Humanoid has to TP away to stop Frescowi from taking the tier 2 in the bot lane. And Oscar's locked up with the Glacial Fisher.
Really big advantages now. Supa is absolutely huge. They should be able to win this. I mean, their siege is enormous. With Ezreal, Tristana, AD Nidalee, like they should just mulch towers. Look at that. Get local gold from the tier 2s also.
0-1. He's been involved in 7 of the teams.
Winter loss. Instead, a 4,000 gold lead materializing for them now.
They're leaving Noah on this top side for Fnatic pressure on the map, and now everyone on Fnatic is stuck in their base. And the second you walk out, there's just so many good engage tools on MDK thanks to this Amumu.
Especially, man, if they are able to get Hextech Soul, that is so immense.
I really like
Get Soul Point for free.
with MDK, if they're able to close this one out. I hope the first
They should have pressure forever,
so
basically.
How many scrim games did you have on Amumu? Because I really played into following their boot camp. Cased it with the Nidalee. While it has worked and hasn't worked, it's become now a comfort pick for Mirwin. And they're doing the same thing, bringing out the Super is dominating with nearly a 3k gold lead over Noah, and MDK up
immediately. So they just have to make sure that they're not falling prey to vision in behind them, giving an opportunity for a flank, obviously just in behind MDK, but they are playing up towards this top side, so it makes it a little bit difficult for Fnatic to try.
Thing is, MDK is going to start to get bored here. So realistically, I think, guys, in this game state, you just play for soul, right? You just play for pressure, wards, and soul. You don't fight. You avoid all possible conflicts. You don't go Baron. You just wait this out. Like, you've already taken all the tier 2 turrets. There's nothing more to take.
2 items on Noah, but Super very agile on this Ezreal. Frescowi the same, can always buffer that rocket jump away.
We don't need to play too aggressively. We don't need to play too aggressively. Just poke a little bit.
Making sure that Fnatic don't have
Fight them. Poke them in the neutral. Fine. This is all fine. It allows you to keep vision in and to keep lane pressure. No, don't start Baron.
Frescowi and Elyoya are going to be the main 2. While the other 3 just zone them away.
I mean, that might be all you need.
It certainly looks like it.
Elyoya is down to half HP. Now he pulls off it. Yeah, I think maybe they need no tank. Elyoya has the Leandries. They can get the TP out, though.
Okay.
Force TP at a humanoid. Do not engage. Do not engage. Do not engage. Do not engage. Do not engage with Glacial Fisher. That's not how you win these games. Holy shit.
Oscar does have TP, though,
All
so
Alvaro's good Glacial Fissures have been counter engages, not attempting to engage.
Keep an eye on that ward, though, for a potential TP flank.
It's coming. TP just outside of vision range. Super dashes away from the Glacial Prison.
They don't know.
Oscar's on his way. The quickness, the mouse.
Flank.
Oh, it's coming.
Oscar does have TP, though, so they Mad don't want to start the Baron too extensively. Keep an eye on that ward, though, for a potential TP flank.
Oh, it's coming.
Okay. So they know where Trist is, right? Fnatic knows where Trist is. So this is why they pull the trigger on this, because they have information that Tristana is actually going to the wave. And so they think they have an opportunity to get like a 5v4 here, basically. But why are we pushed so far forward as 3? Why when especially Tristana's showing, Amumu might be showing, right, guys? Amumu might be showing. But even if Amumu isn't showing, you are pushing very far up for 3, and you have no pressure in top or bot side.
They don't know.
It's free. We could have just waited 2 minutes to get Drake. No pressure top side, no pressure bot side. 3 people only. Well, I guess they got the crab so they can watch Fnatic take the Baron. Dude, this is it. MDK just has a cuck fetish, okay? So they needed to take the crab so that they could watch themselves get fucked at the Baron. Oh, yeah.
Ken ultimate can be the game changer, and that is exactly what it's going to be for Fnatic. Baron secure.
Does so well. He dodges the prison, he dodges everything, but then Oscar is just ready to close in.
But it's also Jun, just the ult and flash.
Very cool. Lose your carries.
Super, the opportunity to flash into a position that could be better. That's the lockup that Kennen needed to follow up And from that position, Fnatic could find that moment. Now with Baron in tow in a minute.
This is just solo queue classic. I know, man. It does look like classic solo queue. Somebody goes back to catch a wave, and the rest of the team just randomly ends.
That is only the first step on a journey they need to take to shut down MDK.
It's like, you know, they know that you're on the top wave. Why are we pathing through mid?
He is matched now by Humanoid, who has the Lord Doms, the Manamune, and the Triforce, and a 2-0. Elio is still looking for that flank, but with Fnatic being 5 in the mid lane, I don't think you really
Gave up a
want to dive
juicy
into
bounty
it.
on that
Just
easy
don't
reel,
dash
too.
forward. Of course, he can always dash back. The safest one to check these bushes is that Jun. 14 seconds on the
mid, and now they get to establish themselves in river. Makes it a little bit more difficult for Fnatic to get avenues attack, but keep your eyes on Oscarinen. There is little to no vision for MDK to spot out the cannon.
Glacial Prison, Blast Cone, slicing motion onto Super, immediately flashes away, but Oscar flashes the...
Your eyes on Oscarinen. There is little to no vision for MDK to spot out the cannon.
We haven't actually taken away the blast cone in all of this? So they literally don't clear this. They're like, what are we playing against, guys? Is there a cannon on the enemy team? Why not just kill the blast cone? Just kill it. Just kill the blast cone.
Makes it a little bit more difficult.
Why, if you're setting up for Soul, do you want to give up the possibility of a flank here? What are you going to use that blast cone for?
There is little to no vision for MDK to spot out the cannon.
Glacial Prison, Blast Cone, slicing motion onto Super, immediately flashes away, but Oscar flashes to follow him, and all the gold lead for MDK evaporates in an instant. Super is no longer North Elioya, and Fnatic, but Oscar flashes to follow.
And Oscarinen, there is little to no vision for
It's
MDK
so free every time.
Glacial Prison, Blast Cone, slicing motion onto Super, immediately flashes away, but Oscar flashes to follow him, and all the gold lead for MDK evaporates in an instant. Super is no longer.
Why not kill the blast cone?
And he had to run away from his own.
Little to no vision for MDK to spot out the cannon.
Glacial Prison, Blast Cone,
Look how damaging that ends up being for them.
but Oscar flashes to follow him, and all the gold lead for MDK evaporates
To spot out the cannon.
Glacial Prison, Blast Cone, slicing motion.
Also, why is Elyoya positioned here? Why is he positioned here? Like, everybody else just dashes over this wall or blast cones over this wall. So he can't do anything. He flashes, doesn't hit anybody with his ult.
There is little to no vision for MDK to spot out the cannon.
Glacial Prison, Blast Cone, slicing motion onto Super, immediately flashes away.
Oh, actually, he does hit Noah, but Noah has cleanse. So he just instantly cleansed. Man, that was such a disrespectful positioning by MDK over what Fnatic could do.
The blast cone angle from Oscar was fantastic. He finds it, find another pick.
Or there's a potential.
People come in, you could have sacked tier 2 in the mid lane.
Get the mid turret. There'll be
Named control over this game.
and there's so much gold still for them to pick up. It's even for now, but there's turrets galore. There's a potential pick up to Alvaro as Fnatic will get the mid.
It's a legendary MDK throw this game.
Bottom side, but the TP will it even come through the terrace? They stand in for just a moment.
TP will come in, you could have sacked tier 2 in the mid lane for this, but Alvaro's down immediately. So it's a tier 1 in the mid lane, a tier 2 in the bot side, maybe a tier 2 in mid as well.
MDK have been so good.
It's not Fnatic actually has a goal lead. I mean, this could still turn around instantly if MDK gets Hextech sold, but why are we spread out like this? Why are we starting Drake with Frescowy in the mid lane and Elyoya wandering around very far away from the objective and river? There's just no appeal. There's no appeal.
They do leave their jungler, but Dragon.
And now it becomes a very similar story to Game 4, where
MDK to escape.
Oscar doesn't have the flash, of course. Of the jungle.
Chased down towards the bottom with Mirwin. MDK up to collapse. They need to work their way, weave their way back towards the mid lane, because MDK have that push forward. Through the river, Oscar gets out just in time, doesn't have that TP. Super's flash a quarter of the way from being back off cooldown. It's so difficult for him to navigate these fights. He really needs to be behind Elioy, behind Alvaro. Alvaro's exhaust so powerful in
800, 300 off.
Abaddons in this case, just in case people don't know what.
So, I mean, that's perfect. Fnatic are going to have everything that they need. They just need that extra bit of gold. He's still a little short.
No, he's just
Oh
grabbed
no,
it.
there he is. Yep, he's been able to secure it. So Fnatic now poised and ready for the upcoming fight. And MDK, that exhaust is going to be so crucial.
The thing is, though, Fnatic don't have those same flank wards. They don't have that initial opportunity to get Oscar into position. So if they can try and keep this position on mid, they can control river, they can set up different flanks for Oscar, and how difficult it is for Oscar to get through Elyoya, get through Alvaro.
Ooh.
But Elyoya on a flank of his own.
Lost going in.
Fnatic
Fnatic
suspicious
realize something
of it,
might be
though.
happening. They're starting to collapse.
Oh, he's
Oh,
been
they
spotted.
found him.
You're spotted by that ward. Importantly as well, we keep talking about Oscar winning, and he will be a difference maker in these fights, but Humanoid's at 4 items.
That's
Like,
true.
if he has any time, any uptime in these battles, he will
Amu with the Abyssal Mask. For Nid's 1 AP item. It's for his own AP. Okay.
absolutely shred.
It's got
through.
Leandries.
They're not
It's gonna cry a lot all over them.
Has
Deal more
Abyssal
damage.
Mask and a Warden's Mail. We've got a Warmogs and Alvaro, but I'll be honest, you don't really care about Alvaro in fights apart from
He's very
being
concerned
ready
about
for the
Kennen.
exhaust.
Kennen
Now
damage.
starting to flank around. Remember, soul point still for MDK. The bandage shots dodged away with the Arctic Assault. Oscar still on that flank. They don't have vision on Oscar. They don't have vision on Oscar. Frescowi's a mile away from this fight, and they don't have vision on Oscar. DK,
Oscar just gets the freest flanks for this entire fucking series. Elyoya literally checks brush, but Mirwin should be marking the flank, by the way, guys. Mirwin should be marking the flank. What is Mirwin doing? Why is Mirwin not there?
Unbreakable in the exhaust.
He's running around in the
Starting
jungle.
to flank around. Remember, soul point still for MDK. The bandage shots dodged away with
But
the
they're not
Arctic
set
Assault.
up for this Drake, and they shouldn't be going for it because they have no setup, and they require setup, guys. And Supa actually gets hit crazily by the Glacial Prison, right? But he's already E-buffered, but he doesn't use Cleanse, or he doesn't have Cleanse? He doesn't ooh, he barely doesn't have Cleanse, I think. And so he has to flash after that. Gets his Cleanse up. Now. I think Supa thought he had Cleanse, because it was very close to coming up, which is why he's on the front line, but Razork sees this opportunity and he just flashes for it. Man, they just disrespect Oscarina's flanks this whole game. Nobody is there marking Oscarina. Elyoya doesn't see him, so he assumes he's not there, but he comes into the brush right afterwards. Mirwin's not in position. There is no Tristana here. They're just split. Every fight, MDK is split. What is Trist? Trist was clearing mid-wave. But you can just let that Drake go, by the way, guys. If you're not set up, you don't have to go for that Drake. Instead, they just choose to lose Baron. Like, by losing that Drake, they just lose Baron and lose the game. That's the problem, is if you're not set up, you shouldn't go for this. Was slightly unfortunate timing, though, as Oscar goes right into that brush at that moment. And Supa's Cleanse was very, very close to coming up, but wasn't quite there yet.
You rightly said, he's angles of attack.
They have to give that Drake up, you know. Now you just definitely lose the game. You could have just given up a Drake and pushed out waves and still been in this game, and instead you lose the whole game for that.
The TP coming in behind as well as Frescowi looks to open up. Elyoya's going to be spotted on vision. He joins the fray. Frescowi spotted on that ward as well.
Pro could get in though. Gotta be careful.
Problem for MDK. That inhibitor tower. MDK need to get back sharpish, otherwise
where
they
is
are losing
MDK?
their inhibitor. They were trying to find a pick, and Vedi, I think that pick didn't materialize. The inhibitor tower in mid lane will fall in the way. The push still
Comes down
in the mid lane. TP, try and keep them around. The quickness coming. Trying to do enough to keep Super around. So it's Humanoid who comes in to join the battle.
I like how they just rush up the middle with their super minions while Oscar denies recalls. This is great. Good call by Fnatic, just using Rocket Pelt or to deny the recalls and a fast push into the mid lane with double AD carry. That's funny. This is funny. That is funny. Humanoid's actually just laughing over that. That's funny.
Both the teams are going to butt heads around this mid-wave. A couple of pings come out, as you say.
MDK's like, no, after you, sir. No, after you, please. Be my guest.
And still,
That's the base.
mid-way push for Fnatic. MDK going to start to back away Oscar in and try and keep them around. For Scowie trying to do enough to keep Super around. He's gonna
It's a really good call by Fnatic, though,
Scowie
guys.
back. Oscar has the TP in onto the super minion, would be the target. Can't keep it alive yet. The quickness coming out. Fnatic have walked in the front door. And MDK, they left it unlocked. Fnatic take the series.
That's a funny ending. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Might be a little bit later tomorrow. I got some stuff to do. We will see. Hopefully, I'll be back tomorrow. Not definitely back Friday. To talk about Gen G versus DK. Good times, guys. Thanks for watching. See you then.